But that restaurant I went to at your place, the code word was braciole. If they had braciole on the menu,
Right.
that meant it was the real genuine Sicilian. And I haven't.
And
I
that
haven't
and that says
forgotten
a
it.
lot.
If I ever visit you again, you got to make sure that we go back to that restaurant.
Absolutely, absolutely. Because I remember you said some term and you said, "Hey, can you make this?" They said, "Absolutely, we can make it." It wasn't even on the menu, and that's when you know you're at a good Italian restaurant.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right, everybody, we're live on YouTube,
Exactly.
and we're talking good Italian restaurants in San Diego.
Yeah, no, it was really good. Hey, Vince, how you doing?
I'm doing extremely well. I still do my swimming every morning, and just the old. If you can get out of bed in the morning and walk to your cup of coffee, you're in good shape. And I do that every morning with no trouble. So I guess I'm in good shape for a 96-year-old. Next month I'm going to be 96.
Wow.
96.
That's amazing. But I got to tell you, there's no other 95-year-old that's as active as you are. And I know, like, this past year with the pandemic it's been a change for you and for us and so many people around the world. Especially for someone like your age. I mean, you've been so active just all across the country, all across the world, being a great ambassador for your generation and for yourself and telling stories. How has it been not being able to do what you've been doing for the last few years?
Terrible. I before the COVID, I used to be out 2 or 3 times a month, 2 or 3 trips a month, going all over, meeting all my friends, and the military people invited me out all over the place, and I was having a great time. And then all of a sudden, the whole thing is turned off. So I did my best getting on the computer with friends and people and so on. And I did sneak in a couple. I made one quickie trip to San Diego there with CJ Machado.
Yeah.
And I went to Las Vegas and jumped with the Golden Knights.
Nice.
Wow.
Tandem jump. And
Awesome.
I still ran around here. Illinois, I spoke to some schools and so on, but the mask and I'm just glad it's all over, and for me anyway, that I can run around now like a school kid.
Oh yeah, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. Yeah, you never been the one to sit still. You always want to be moving and shaking. But hey, it's 2021 now, and we're very lucky and very blessed to have this type of technology. Because most of the time you're talking to schools, talking to kids, and this platform that we started last year, Austin's idea to start this. Well, actually, we actually started in Holland actually with Francis. No, with Tom and Francis Turner.
The first live we ever did was Tom Rice in Holland.
Yeah,
in
well,
Holland.
I did a couple here with at Fort Campbell, a guy named Darren.
Oh, Fort Campbell. Yep.
And we did a virtual. It worked good.
Yeah. No, it's good. I mean, look, it's better than nothing. Can you imagine having this type of technology?
That's the point, though. And right after that one, this colonel from the Arizona ROTC called and said, "Would you do a virtual with us?" And I said, "Well, yeah, if I have to, but I'd rather come down there and do it in person. I've had my shot." Yeah, so the hell with the virtual. I went down there and had a grand old time. They knew enough to have a bottle of Johnny Walker Red for the pre-dinner softeners, and they even had at the restaurants we went to so outside tables with heaters, so you go out there and smoke your cigar. It was great.
Oh, that's good. That's
all
good.
Smoking cigars right now. doing this talk. What are we doing? What are we doing? Okay,
Are you a cigar smoker?
Listen, all over the internet, that's
I'm not
Scotch and
smoking.
Cigar Speranza. That's
Yeah. Vincent's smoking those
if
cigars.
anybody has the formula when I'm coming, what do you need? I don't need anything so long as you know what the story is.
Yeah. Yeah, so this is a great vehicle for us to connect with with kids and for people all around the world. They get an opportunity to ask you a question, and it's been wonderful. It's been great. I think you're gonna love it. Austin, I'm sure there's a ton of people waiting in the waiting room, waiting to ask questions. Yeah, yeah. So we'll try to get through as many as we can. Try to get everybody on. Just be patient, and then at the end, Austin.
I want to mention, Donnie, we really appreciate what you guys do for the veterans.
We love doing it.
There's a handful of organizations like us that really put themselves out there. Make when you get old and all your responsibilities are gone, and all of a sudden you're nothing, and all of a sudden these people say, "Hey, we think you did something during World War II," and then they give you a dinner and honors and so on. In fact, just yesterday, I was at a restaurant and we had a big meal with a group of people. And when the waitress comes in and we asked for the tab, she said, the gentleman there who just left bought you dinner. Yeah, all these little things that make old people feel that they're not forgotten. And your organization, by the way, Donnie, is pretty famous for the way you take care of the veterans out there on the West Coast.
Who else is taking people to football games?
And I have not forgotten the football shirt you gave me. I wear it. It says 101st Airborne, but it's a football jersey.
Yeah, going to your first football game.
That was dope.
Yes, it was.
On the field, with Hall of Famers, and it was pretty special. Right. It was really cool. Yeah,
that was a great visit.
Absolutely. Okay, so we do have a lot of people waiting. What we're gonna do? So if you get on Zoom or if you're in the Zoom waiting room, stay on till the end, because at the end we're gonna have everybody come on and we're gonna do a group sing along to Blood. Is it Blood Upon the Risers or Blood on the Risers?
Well, because I changed it, it's the Paratrooper song.
The Paratrooper song. So, Blood Upon the Risers, the Paratrooper song. And you know what I'm talking about. Everybody knows Vince for singing that song. He's famous for it. So, stay on till the end. That's all I can say.
Okay.
It's going to be fun. You too, Vince. You stay on till the end. We need you. All right, so we're gonna start bringing people here on in a little bit. Well, lots of names I'm not familiar with. That's good. We got some new people. So
good, and they also gonna ask questions on the chat room on YouTube as well. I know we have some team members there: Ralph Peters, Joe Conway, Ben. Some of the guys out there that are going to be answering questions that pass them through.
Pay attention in the chat.
Okay.
Start. Okay, so. First, we're going to bring in what looks like Felipe Durantes. You'll be first. Then Patrick Morales. Then Matthew Aronson. I think it's Aronson. I don't know. I'll probably screw it up. Sorry, Matt. So Felipe, you'll be first. Then Patrick. Then Matthew. So it's a 20-second delay, so they haven't even heard this yet. So we'll give them yeah. So Vince.
Yep.
I'm so glad to see you again. It's just been too long. It's been too long. I've been very excited for this one. I hope you have been too. All right, so now let's bring in Felipe. I'm probably saying that wrong too. I don't know. Looks like Felipe.
Hey guys, how are you doing?
Hey, did I say it right, Felipe?
That's right, yeah.
All right.
Hell yeah. How are you doing?
We're doing great. How about you?
My heart is pumping, almost going out of my chest, because this is something that I wanted to do for my whole life, to get to talk to a World War II veteran, and even though it's not in person, is just, amazing right now. So I appreciate you, Donnie, Austin, and Mr. Speranza for letting us. I mean, for example, I come from Mexico. I live in Mexico, born and raised, and Mexico didn't have much participation in World War II, so you don't get to see veterans around. There are no World War II events or anything, so you got to go to the U.S. or overseas. So this is a great opportunity. I would like to thank you for what you're doing as well.
Absolutely.
Well,
Absolutely.
appreciate you saying that. And,
Well, you're live with Mr. Vince.
well, I want to tell him
Go
that
ahead.
I was in Mexico and sneaked a Cuban cigar.
Wow, very nice, very nice. But I bet that was not legal, Mr. Speranza. No, just kidding. No.
Yeah, he's 95. He doesn't care. What are they gonna do?
Yeah, right. Yeah. Very good. Well, thank you very much once again, guys.
Absolutely.
Really.
Well, go ahead.
Nice
Well,
chatting with you.
Thank you. Likewise. Well, I have 2 questions. I mean, not to get the whole time. So my first question is you have Italian roots, right? So what do you think? What were your thoughts when you knew that Italy was in the war on the Nazi side? How do you feel like that?
Oh.
Before I left for the service, well, let me back up a little bit. On December 7th, 1941, was a Sunday when the war started. We got word that the Japanese had attacked Pearl Harbor and so on and so on. My father's an immigrant from Italy,
Yes.
from Reggio Calabria. When he heard that we were at war, he lined up his 4 sons, and he said, "Boys, listen." He said, "By the way, my Rocky was only 12. Al was 14. I was 16. My older brother was 21." And he said, "Boys," he said, "listen, this country must not fail. Understand, boys? Nowhere in the entire world can a man come here with nothing except the willingness to work. And look at us today. I have 8 children, all growing healthy and going to school, and we have a home and a car and vacation." He says, "There's no country in the world like this. And if anybody threatens it, I expect my sons to." We said, "We know, Papa, they won't take us till we're 18. Whatever the story," he said that. When I went to leave for the service, he just like casually said, "Vinny, what are you going to do if they send you to Italy and you're going to fight your cousins?" I said, "Pop, listen, you said it yourself. We're Americans. If Italy is the enemy, I'm sorry." Luckily, by the way, I didn't get sent to Italy, France, and then Belgium. But he was concerned about that, but accepted the fact that, hey, as an American soldier, if I have to fight in Italy, I'm sorry, I'm going to fight in Italy. And yes, if some of your relatives are still involved, I'm sorry. That's why war is hell.
Right. Yeah,
Wow.
I really
That's heavy.
felt.
Wow.
Right out the gate, like, wow.
Yeah, I got to say, I mean, I just can't. I mean, it's. I guess thinking about it would be kind of difficult, right? But like you said, you're American now, and I just can't imagine if we did have to go into Italy, and I mean, I can't
By the
imagine.
way, a lot of them did. A lot of our guys who were sent to Italy, they knew they were fighting against.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Wow.
and a lot of the a lot of young kids that were fighting, were probably one-off generations from the homeland.
Most of them were.
Yeah.
Because the big wave of Italian immigration came in around 1900, and the war started in 40. That was the next generation of kids.
Wow.
Yeah.
And
But I think
I
you said,
spoke to some, and they said, well, he said, we at the end of the war, those that were still there went looking for their relatives and so on.
Wow.
And the relatives, I guess they understood, but like we said, that's why war is hell. So the things
War
that
is hell.
come up, the
Absolutely.
things you got to do, it's very difficult decisions, but hey, you're not there to equivocate. You're there to make a decision and do what you have to do.
Well said.
Wow.
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 Wow. Great question.
Felipe's
question.
throwing out the good stuff right off the bat.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely. I've been waiting for this moment my whole life, as I told you. So I gotta get the good ones, right? At least.
That's right. All right. Go ahead with another one.
All right. Yeah. My second question is, I mean, you know that, well, at least as far as I have read and seen in videos, documentaries, and so on, American soldiers and soldiers in general were looking for, let's say, trophies from the Nazis, such as I don't know, guns, Lugers, medals, whatever. Do you bring any souvenir back home?
Yes, I brought a German officer's Luger, and at one point, right near the end of the war, the Army told us if we built a wooden box, and they gave us the dimensions, 2 feet by 3 feet and so on, but 12 inches deep, we'll let you send home whatever you want free. The Army will mail it for it, because they knew that. See, a lot of times you have a good souvenir, like say a pistol, a German Luger. You try to mail it home, it never gets home. The rear echelon people, the stuff would disappear. So you kept it all with you.
Yeah.
And the Army pretty soon realized that, and so they made it possible for you to send stuff home at certain periods. And I happened to be also get it up to Hitler's Eagle's Nest. A bomb had hit it, and the stuff was all over the place. And we were picking up souvenirs and so on. I got 2 big books. One said Adolf Hitler, and the other one said the Third Reich. And it was full of big black and white glossy pictures of the whole Nazi movement. When the 1936 putsch started in Munich, and the Nazis moving into this and so on and so on. Beautiful books. Of course, they weren't in such good shape when I got them because of the bomb. And my kid brothers were writing me, hey, everybody's sending stuff home, and you haven't sent us anything. Get some stuff. So there was one point after I got that letter that I just would gather around stuff, everything I could find. I got a big Nazi banner that was hanging, the 20-foot parade banners.
Wow.
That was on the mayor's office balcony in Birch's Garden. And I had my guys sign it and so on, sent it home. And a good corollary story to that is, I'm home now. I'm married, got kids, and my wife. Well, the thing is, I came home from work one day, and here's the Nazi banner hanging on a clothesline in the backyard. I came home and I said, "What the hell is going on?" I said, "We're going to get arrested." I said, "What did you do?" She said, "Well, I didn't like the way it smelled, so I washed it."
Oh no!
I quickly took it down. I can tell you that. It's now in a museum.
Well, here's a picture of you and your wife, right?
That's my.
That's
we
the
were
nurse.
married 70 years, boys.
Oh,
70
wow.
years.
When she passed away, we were 70 years.
Wow.
Amazing.
That's amazing. That's inspiring.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have a picture in your book when she was a nurse during the war.
Yep.
Let me see if I can find it.
If I have
She never got overseas. She was the Nurse Cadet Corps.
Shoot.
At one point, they sent her to the States. Yeah.
Yeah.
They sent her to New York to train. And
right.
I met her in New York, and she never left.
Wow.
I wouldn't let her leave. Until she agreed to marry me.
Well, she's a beauty for sure. 70 years. That's amazing. I mean, talk about life partners. You know, my wife, Catherine.
The important thing, Donnie, was that, you know, I came out a pretty rough person from the war. And she was one of these southern ladies from Virginia, you know, soft-spoken and gentle and so on. And, you know, she sort of calmed the beast.
Yeah, that's just the balance you needed.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I went in as an innocent 18-year-old kid, but when you know what war does to you, and
Oh yeah.
the kind of combat that I was in, you become something else. You're not an innocent kid anymore.
Yeah.
And in order to adjust back to a more simple life, you need a little help. And she was absolutely perfect. And just,
That's great.
she
Yeah, it's
changed
wonderful.
me from wartime, you know what, to a husband and a good father and grandfather and great grandfather. I I don't go around antagonizing people anymore.
Yeah. There she is.
Yeah.
She was 18 years old.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's the
That's so
picture
cool.
of her when she first got her nurses camp.
I love it.
Gorgeous.
Wow.
Well, Felipe, so good to meet you.
Yeah.
Pleasure. The
Thanks for
pleasure is
joining.
mine. Thank
Yeah.
you very much. And even though this is like it is on Zoom, well, I hope I ever have a chance to meet you in person.
I would like that
Mr.
myself.
Speranza. Likewise, sir. Thank you very much, Austin, Donnie, for
Where are
making
you
this
located
possible.
now?
I'm in Mexico City.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I've been to the
Little
U.S.
Mexico.
in general a couple of times. Also New York, like twice or thrice. So, yeah.
Very cool.
Well, thank you guys once again.
Well, next time we get something going, there's an event for sure. You should think about coming out and meeting some of the guys. It's pretty special.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Really is.
Yeah, I've been thinking of going to one D-Day event, D-Day Canute. I don't know where.
It's in Ohio.
It's in Ohio. Yeah, I've been thinking of
Mhm.
attending that one. So
Well,
probably.
if you're going to do that, go right to Normandy. I'm
Right.
gonna be there.
Yeah, definitely.
Take a
my
visit. You talk
Look for
about
the big
meeting
one.
a lot of veterans.
Definitely, yeah. Actually, that was my plan for 2020 because my girlfriend lives in Slovenia, so I go to Europe almost every year, and that was my plan to go to Normandy at least once, you
Wow.
know, before it's
Yeah.
too late. But
Funny, man.
Normandy or Holland or
Yeah.
Bastogne. That's the three big battles that the 101st Airborne fought in, and whatever's left of us try to get back there every year.
definitely, yeah.
This year, the stupid COVID kept us
I
from
know.
being in Normandy.
I know. Well, I hope next year we run into each other, you guys.
Well, this year's not
Well,
over yet. I mean, we're
this
gonna
year-
be back. We're gonna be
Hopefully,
back soon.
yes. Hopefully,
You can't
yeah.
hold these guys down. You can't hold them down. You know, they're chomping
Yeah.
at the bit to get out. And
One
was
year
tough
is way
enough.
too much already.
Yeah, no, for sure. Hey, make sure you join us March 20th for our Iwo Jima Honor Walk. As remember those who fought in that battle 76 years ago. So
Will
make sure
do.
you sign up. Yeah, and be part of it.
I
Definitely.
believe that I've already got something going. I got two things going in March, and my birthday is the 23rd. My
Ooh.
family's gonna do something and take me someplace. And and in April, you know, the things are all lined up already.
The calendar is already being set out.
Donnie, the best one is gonna be in May. I'm to be the leader of the Rolling Thunder motorcycle gang that's gonna go across the country there.
Wow, that's cool.
I'm gonna be, you know, then they go to Washington D.C. and meet the president and all that stuff there. And this year the honor and made. Of course, I'm not gonna ride the damn motorcycles all the way through. Every time we stop, I'll ride 1 hour, and then they've got a van back there for me.
Nice and warm van.
It's all for show.
I can see your leather vest over there, motorcycle style. So
Oh,
looks
yeah.
pretty cool.
Oh,
the
listen,
chair.
I used to do with a motorcycle. They made me give it up when I was 85 years old.
Hmm.
And so
That's a shame.
they didn't say anything about a scooter, so I
rolling thunder on scooter. All right, Felipe,
Felipe.
thanks a lot. We'll get some more people on.
All right, yeah, definitely. Thank you guys. Take care.
See
Bye
ya.
bye.
Make sure you
See
stick
ya.
around to the end.
I will.
That's cool.
All right, that's cool. Good questions. I like it. All right, so we're gonna bring in Patrick. Patrick is all the way from the Philippines. Vince, you ever been to the Philippines?
I wasn't in the Pacific. I was in Europe all along.
Well, I know that, but I'm saying, have you ever been?
Oh yeah, well, no, I've never been the West Coast.
I haven't been there yet either.
And
Patrick,
in fact,
you're up.
I'm thinking, maybe Donnie ever does one of those Pacific Islands again. I ought to go. See
Oh,
what
yeah?
Marines
You should.
Absolutely.
those guys
Can you hear us, Patrick?
Yeah. Hello, can you hear me?
We can hear you. There's like wind going or something. Do you have a fan on?
It's already too hot.
At 3 in the morning. What time is it out there, Patrick?
2:30 a.m.
30 in the morning.
Yeah.
2:30 in the morning, Vincent. He's here for you. Well, go ahead. You're on
Wow.
with Vincent Speranza.
Yeah. I already saw Vincent Speranza in YouTube before I found the Best Friends Foundation, singing
Oh,
the blood,
nice.
blood on the right.
You've known him for a while.
Yeah. I have two questions for Mr. Vincent.
Yes.
How does it feel how was your first jump in Normandy?
I'm sorry.
How was your first jump in Normandy?
Help me out, guys. What was the question?
How was your first jump in Normandy?
Oh, I did not jump in Normandy.
Oh,
I
okay.
started in Bastogne.
Oh, that's right.
But of course, I spoke with a lot of the men who did it, and I can tell you that not only was it at night, but it was jumping into the unknown. The men had practiced and rehearsed everything for the jump where everybody was supposed to land and where, and the whole plan went out the window when, as the planes went over the border to Normandy, the German artillery scattered them, and the men landed in different places, and they landed with different groups and so on. It was amazing that, and that's where the superiority of the airborne soldier, no matter where they landed, no matter where they went, they gathered together in groups and they knew what the objective was and so on. And they did the job, and they kept the Germans so occupied that the beach defenses ran out. It's the only way our men got up the beaches. If Germany had the 3 reserve divisions waiting to see which part of the line needed help, and the paratroopers jumped in between so that the 3 German divisions could not get to the front to help them out, and our guys finally got up the beaches and went up. But boys, first wave in Normandy, 90% casualties. 9
Let
out
that
of
sink in.
10 soldiers who went up those beaches died that day.
Crazy.
Yeah.
How was your first jump, Vincent, into Bastogne?
The jump was off the back of a truck. What happened was, nobody knew. I'd just been assigned. I was a replacement to H Company 501 in northern France. And December 17th, early in the morning, the barrack lights come on. And they started,
You got more, Malone?
everybody, we're moving up. We said, Sergeant, you're crazy. The ground is frozen. We'll all break our legs. And that's when he told us, you're not jumping. You're going to go up in trucks. And all I could think of was, all my airborne training, all my parachute jumping. My first jump is going to be off a truck. So I cannot tell you about personal experience of what that jump was like, but let me tell you, it was a miracle that these guys were, in fact, instead of being scattered all over the place and half of their equipment lost and so on, they still got together in units. They took their objectives and they smoothed it out so that the men could finally get up the beaches and stop the invasion of Germany.
Yeah. Wow.
Hey, Vince, I have a quick question just to talk about that. Since, you came in and joined as a replacement, I know when you join a team, I know like playing pro football, we have new guys join the team or young guys, like at the end of the season when we're doing well or something like that. Did you have to earn your respect from your boys, from your guys?
My friend, when you are a replacement in a combat outfit, you are nothing, man. Until you prove yourself in combat. Nobody talked to you. Nobody did. Later on, they tell you that they didn't want to know because they knew damn well the replacements are the ones that get killed first. They're the inexperienced, and also by choice. If a sergeant's got to send somebody, instead of one of the guys that he knows is tried and true, they send the replacement. But once you show that you're in the first fight, I was a machine gunner. In the first fight, I didn't know it, but the tanks are coming up, the infantry behind them, and so on. The whole place is exploding, and they said, "Holy Jesus!" They nicknamed me "Curse and Traverse Speranza." They said, all you did was curse and call them all. We think you invented some new ones. And they said, but the 3-second burst all the way down the line, so on, you mow them down. And he said, and by the way, after that first fight, you couldn't find a better sense of buddies.
Absolutely.
You must have to earn your stripes. I mean, that's the way it is. I mean, especially like you said in the combat. I mean, you have to show it. That's how you earn the respect.
Oh, man.
Yep. Straight up.
Yeah.
And there he is.
18 years old.
Wow. M1 Duran.
Young replacement.
Yeah, that's it.
I like it. Well, Patrick, what's your other question?
Yeah, before I ask the question, Vincent said that the first wave was 90% casualties. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think because the landing of the D-Day was first wave, I think it's too early and the beaches was high tide, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Repeat the question for me. What did he say?
Before I ask. Because
I don't. It's not you. It's
he was talking about.
I'm an old man now, and I don't hear well.
Yeah, Vincent.
He was talking about D-Day.
I don't understand. Ask one of the guys to repeat your question for me.
Yeah, he was just talking about D-Day.
Yeah.
Patrick, go ahead and ask her next question.
How does it long to defend the Bastogne? Because it was surrounded by the Germans, right?
Yes.
How many days?
How long was the Battle of Bastogne?
8. The 16th of December is when Hitler, nobody knew it, neither British intelligence nor American intelligence even had a hint that Hitler had saved up 25 divisions. There's 18,000 men in each division. 9 of those divisions were Panzer divisions. That's, tanks.
Yeah, because they pressured, because the Hitler wanted the Ardennes. 3 days to take the Ardennes.
Tanks, the Tiger Royals and the Mark IVs. And on the 16th of December, they left. Their objective was to get to Antwerp, Belgium. That's the coastal city. In other words, there's Germany and Belgium, and Antwerp is the city on the coast, which is the seaport where all our supplies came in. the American ships would land there with our supplies. And the plan was for them to come from Germany through Belgium and capture Antwerp, therefore denying us all the supplies and having it themselves, gasoline and food and ammunition and so on. And it would have separated the British armies and Canadian armies that were in the north from the American armies in the south. In other words, a wedge between them, and it would have changed the war. The problem for them was they had to funnel through the Ardennes, and there was a little town here called Bastogne. Bastogne had 5 roads. It was a transportation hub, small village, 5,000, 6,000 people, but it had 5 roads leading into it and 2 railroads, trains and so on. And so, in other words, to get to Antwerp, they had to take that town. And I guess Eisenhower said to the 101st Airborne Division, get up there and make sure they don't. And so the Germans on the 17th, they had smashed the 4 American divisions that were holding the line there in the Ardennes. It was the 4th, the 28th, the 128th, and the 9th Armored Division. And the Germans completely destroyed them. It was one big hell of a fight in the Hurtgen Forest, but didn't even slow them down. When they came through the Ardennes, now they got a funnel because the ground on both sides and the terrain there, the tanks cannot maneuver there. They have to stay on the road. To stay on the road, they have to go through Bastogne. And 12,000 Americans said, like hell. And 56,000 of them said, we're coming. And on the second day, the first day we stopped them cold. They were cocky, you know, they thought, hey, they were just like they smashed the other 4 divisions, they were going to get through Bastogne like that. But they didn't count on the 101st Airborne Division boys. Who said, well, like, you're not getting by my foxhole, you sort of, boys, listen. Battles are not won by who has the most men, who has the most equipment, who has the air cover, who has that. It's what's in the heart of the individual soldier. The guy who digs the hole in the ground and puts a bayonet on the end of his rifle, and he says, I don't give a crap what you throw me. You're not getting by my foxhole unless you kill me first. They weren't ready for that. They thought as their tanks came up that we'd all be scared and surrender and quit like the other divisions did. No, we let the tanks go by, and their infantry got a big surprise when they came up. Now, the tanks, once they know that their infantry is not behind them, that we stopped them, they got to turn around and go back. And on the way back, McAuliffe's artillery smashed them. That first battle of theirs, of course, we lost a lot of guys. They killed a lot of people, but it told them that they were not going to get in that town, even though for the next 7 days, bomb and stress and we're running low on food and ammunition, and the weather is always below 0, and we had no summer clothes. We only had summer clothes and no gloves and no hats and no boot galoshes and so on. And we lost an awful lot of people, but not one goddamn Nazi boot got into that town. And on the 23rd, the 26th, Patton came in, had surrounded us. He broke the circle. We got our wounded out. We had been resupplied by air, and we turned around from people who had us stand there and just take it. We now took the war to them. The funny part, though, was, you know, we were down to 1 K ration a day. We were all free. How many men that the Germans had captured the field hospital and so on. The point was, when the planes came in to supply us, we were picturing, I'm gonna get overcoats and hats and gloves, especially. You know, you need both hands to fire your weapon, and the weather's 12 below zero. And when we saw the planes, we found out when they dropped the supplies, not one plane load of clothes. Well, they dropped food, ammunition, and gasoline, and a glider with some doctors and such. Whatever it was, we blessed them when they came in, and we cursed them when they left, because we found that they didn't bring us any warm clothes. And we thought when Patton came in, now they're going to send us back to a nice warm barracks. We're going to get hot food and warm winter clothes and so on. No. Eisenhower said, you and the 82nd are going to be the spearhead pushing the Nazis all the way back to Berlin. And so it was. We 144 days. And the casualties were almost 51, 52%. One out of every two guys died on the way back to Berlin. Of course, we were knocking them off at 7-8-1.
Wow.
And you know, you talk about a feeling of frustration. I think, tell me, the war's over. You know it. Your armies are all collapsed. Quit, for God's sake. I mean, no. They fought till the last minute, especially the SS units.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of unnecessary killing went on. But
like you said, that's war. That's ugly. Yeah.
That's what happened.
For sure. Wow, Vince, you have such an impeccable memory. Like I love listening to your stories.
Very informative.
Yeah.
I forgot a lot of things about the war, but there are a lot of things that you can't forget, no matter
right.
Yeah.
No matter how long you live.
For sure. Well, Patrick, thanks for coming by. Always good to see you.
Yeah, you too, guys. And it's great to talk with Mr. Speranza.
I'm sorry, say it again.
You're saying it was great to talk to you, Vince.
To you.
Oh, okay. Did I answer your question, by the way?
Yeah.
Okay.
By the way, I'm from the Philippines, Mr. Vincent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if you read the book, one of the things that happened when the Germans surrounded us was what I'm famous for, called the beard story. And in fact, my friend, you will find that I'm better known for what I did with a helmet full of beer than what I did with my machine gun the whole war.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure you're going to get that question asked. We'll save that story for when someone asks that question.
People have already been talking about the beer story in the chat.
Oh, it's coming. It's coming for sure.
All right,
Patrick, thank you so much for being part once again at 2:30 in the morning, all the way from the Philippines. I hope you're walking on March 20th to remember our veterans that fought in Iwo Jima.
Yeah, I already signed up there.
Very well.
Awesome. All right. See you, buddy. Thank you. Hey, Vincent, that was pretty cool. All the way from the Philippines, huh? 2:30 in the morning. Think about it. You know, they set the alarm clock and they're ready to go. But hey, we have a question from the chat, and this is from Keith Riley, and he said, "What were you scared of the most?"
Now, you know, we were paratroopers, but when you're on the ground, you're infantry soldiers. That's in fact, the regiment is called the 501 PIR, Parachute Infantry Regiment.
Geronimo.
And the thing that there are two things that you hate. One is just a temporary thing that, in other words, in the early morning, before the fog lifts, it's quiet. You know they're getting ready, but it's absolutely no sound, nothing happens. And all of a sudden, you hear the clanks and the grind of the 88. And they were so good with those 88s, they could put a shell from 5 miles away through a window. the thing that first brings the shivers is the sound of those tanks. But generally speaking, in infantry fighting, we hated the mortars.
Mm.
A mortar shell doesn't make any noise. There's a thunk. And of course, when they're far away, you don't hear that. You know nothing. See, an artillery shell, you got a couple of seconds because they're firing from where you hear the noise, you drop down a few seconds. The mortar shell, you don't know is coming until the first one explodes. And see, a good German mortar squad could keep 16 shells in the air, 4 guns, 4 shells before the first one lands. And then they land in a pattern. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Anybody in the area is going to get it. And shrapnel makes ugly wounds, bullet makes a nice clean hole. But pieces of shrapnel tear all kinds of stuff in all directions. It's jagged and so. When I got mine, one piece went right under my eye. They thought it was touching the brain. They sent me to a British hospital, but it wasn't. And no problem. They just pulled it out. I would say that, and later we learned to really respect the rockets. They had these, I guess, patterned after the Russian Katyusha rockets, but there's a whole barrel of them, like I think 12, that go off at once.
Mm.
And the coverage is just like an artillery shell, lands in one place and so on. Well, when you got a whole bunch put together, they land all over the place. Nobody's got a chance at it. But still, weapon for weapon, what we hated the most was a mortar attack, mortars.
Wow.
Mm.
And don't forget, they breed them right up close to the line too. So
All right, give me a sec. Give me a sec.
Okay.
There we go. Oh my God, I was just listening to you talk about the screaming memes.
Yeah, well, the screaming Mimi was supposed to be bad for morale because they made that screeching sound. But we loved it. We know they're coming. You can hear them, and you duck down in a hole and go like this. And
I mean, maybe they did mimic that from the Russian Katyushkas. I mean, you even hear that in like the old video footage.
yeah, no, but they screamed all over. So, from the time it leaves the barrel, well, you got plenty of time to plop down into the hole. Of course, if you're caught outside the foxhole, you may not get back in time because they're closer to the front lines and it's a shorter time before the shell to hit.
Yeah, for sure. Well, Matthew has just joined us. Matthew, you're on with Vincent Speranza. He's got your book.
All right.
Matthew, why don't you introduce yourself?
Introduce yourself, Matthew.
Hi, I'm Matthew Aronson. I'm from Chicago, Illinois, and lucky for me, it's only 2 in the morning here. It's only 12 here.
Well, Vince is down the street from you. He's not too far in Illinois.
I'm only a couple of hundred miles down south from you.
Oh, really? Where are you?
Chicago. Springfield.
Oh, wow. I was just I was there like 2 years ago.
I'm from Auburn, just a little south of Springfield, small town.
I mean, I was just in Springfield just 2 years ago. Man.
Is that where Abraham Lincoln is from?
Yeah, no, he's from Kentucky, but he moved a lot.
That's where he lived and became a lawyer. And
okay, that's where he lived. Yeah.
No, beautiful
and,
town.
And of course, everything in Springfield is named Lincoln. Little Airport, Lincoln Highway, Lincoln this.
And one thing that's really cool about Springfield as a capital, it has this little tiny old Capitol building and the new Capitol building, which is like this Victorian era. I've been inside. It's beautiful, bronze statues. When I went there, it was like dead quiet. I mean, dead quiet. Like you could pin drop. But I guess I should ask questions about the war because I don't think
a lot of people respect the tradition.
Go ahead.
That's what I found. I'm not from here, but most of the very, very, very proud and a little bit reverent about all of the Lincoln reminders.
Yeah.
All right. So I have a question about the cold in Bastogne. How did you guys? What were some of the tricks that you guys did to keep your weapons functioning? Because I know that there were a lot of problems with weapons freezing, machine guns jamming, and M1 rifles just.
Your answer, the answer to your question is very simply, what's the only warm liquid around?
But I knew that was probably going to be the answer.
Well, you know, the machine gun stayed pretty good no matter what the weather. You could click that one, but your M1 bolt froze solid. You pissed on it, and that's it.
I remember.
Of course, you got to wipe it off real fast because even that would freeze.
Then your pistol freeze.
So Vincent, what if you didn't have to go to the bathroom? Would you ask one of your buddies to, hey, piss on my rifle?
I'm sorry?
I said, if you didn't have to go and you needed it, unfrozen, and you didn't have to go to the bathroom, would you ask one of your buddies to, hey, Joe, can you?
No, you usually had a reserve because you very, very, very carefully decided when you could go to the bathroom. You usually had a reserve supply all the time because you hated like heck to go to the bathroom.
Like you say, you don't want to be caught with your pants down.
No, oh wow, that's another whole story with the K-Rash. and I wrote a poem about it in the book too.
That's so funny.
Yeah, go ahead, Matthew. Ask your questions before we get off track here.
All right. Okay. All right. I'm nervous. All right. Yeah. What about? I remember reading in the book you mentioned how you guys didn't have when you got called up. You guys had, and I've asked another veteran this question. You guys had almost no ammo, almost no weapons, just getting sent to Bastogne. Did you guys have to salvage some equipment from? You mentioned destroyed vehicles and tanks.
No, what really saved us was, by the way, when I arrived at Bastogne, I was a machine gunner without a machine gun. I had a trench knife in my boot. That was my
trench
knife. And they later told us what the number was. 10% of us that went to Bastogne were unarmed. A lot of guys didn't have helmets. A lot of guys didn't have rifles, even carbines. And whatever the story was, the 4 German division, American divisions that had been smashed, were ordered to the rear. The stragglers, what was left of those divisions, were ordered to the rear, but they had to go through Bastogne. So they were in Bastogne as we were coming in. And we just went right up to them and said, hey, buddy, listen, you're going back. You don't need to took the rifle right off his shoulder. You got any grenades right in his pockets? We took the grenade. I saw a guy with a nice light 30 machine gun. I said, oh, this looks so heavy for you. Let me help you carry it. And I took the gun, and he had 2 belts of ammunition. At least for the first fight, I had a weapon, and I had 2 belts of ammunition. And all the other guys had picked up a rifle, a carbine here and there. And so even though we arrived at the battle unarmed, we were armed before the first fight started, because we were there one day before the Germans hit.
So that's
Hey, Vincent. Sorry.
So that scene in Band of Brothers where you see the guys of the 506 show up and they run into guys from a battered unit, that's kind of what you experienced?
I didn't get the question. Say it again?
Oh, no, I was just commenting saying, so that scene in Band of Brothers when they arrive at Bastogne and they want and they see the guys who've just gotten unbeaten and they're getting all the equipment from them, that's kind of what happened with you guys?
I can only tell you about me and the guys around me.
Yeah, I know.
The stragglers that were being sent to the rear were all too willing to give us. By the way, they had been dazed and they were in a fog. Ordinarily you don't give up your weapon to anybody, but they were willing to give us their rifles and the ammunition, the grenades that they had. And at night, when the fight started, the sergeants would come around and redistribute what ammunition we had. How many rounds you got for your M1? I got 3 clips. Give me 1. He's only got 1. And they every night they would redistribute what we had, and it got worse and worse, of course, until the machine gun was a joke. You know, you get 1 belt, 2 belts. Well, in the first 5 minutes of any fight, so that's why we also took on M1 and had, but by about the 3rd or 4th day, you had 1 clip of ammunition for your M1 and in the weapon, and that's it. Once you fired that clip, you don't have anything anymore. And the guys that went out on patrol used to have to borrow ammunition. Geez, I gotta go on patrol. I got better have more than 1 clip. Lend me. I'll give it back to you when we get back. If I don't use it. And so they hung on there until the 23rd. The 23rd, the sun came out and our planes came over and they dropped ammunition and food and made a big difference. And, you know, we were down to 1 K ration a day. You're supposed to have 3. And scrounge around and some of the places, some of the guys in the basements, they would find beans, you know, dried beans and so on. But we had nowhere to cook anything. You couldn't make fires and so on. By the 23rd, it had gotten pretty bad. But then the 23rd changed things. Once that sun came out and our planes could fly, 134 is what the actual figure was. C-47s came in and dropped, and 95% of it dropped within our lines. So that, now, by the way, it sounds like a lot. The food they dropped was good for a day and a half.
Jeez. You could think Patton broke through.
Well, we were also feeding the civilians that it was a nunnery with a whole bunch of little orphan kids and so on. And while the civilians had a scrounge for themselves, these poor kids, so the army made sure that they got rations from us.
How bad was the fog in Bastogne? Because I remember hearing Don Burgett from Don Burgett from 1st Battalion to 506. He talked about going on
the first day when we turned daylight and we woke up that morning, the fog was all the way down to the ground. You couldn't see anything. And then gradually, like a whole curtain, it lifts. It starts lifting, and you could see. You look underneath, you could see down, and it got higher and higher and higher and higher. Finally, when it got high enough, and you can see all the way down, that's when the world exploded. Their artillery opened up, their tanks popped out of the woods, and you get your first taste of what the hell is all about, and not a very good taste.
Yeah. Do you have any kind of what kind of artillery support?
See, they were firing. The tanks were firing point blank. You know, depending on where you were, it makes all the difference in a battle. I like to say your view of war is inversely proportional to your distance from the forward foxhole. I was in the forward foxhole. So what you hear from me is what the view was from the forward foxhole. And when the tank attack first started, they were firing point blank into the foxhole. When they hit one, the guy disappears, his rifle goes floating around and so on. And you look away quick because, Jesus, better pay attention to what's going on and so on. Like when we licked them and they turned around and went back, the first, can you excuse me for just a minute? There's somebody at the door. I'll be right back.
Oh, okay. I was like, what's that?
Yeah, pretty interesting what he's talking about too, because you got to understand, like, he's telling you the perspective, not from like the overall, or like from the 360 view. He's actually telling you the viewpoint from his eyeballs from the foxhole and what he saw, right?
Now,
Oh, there he is.
I'm back. What I was saying was that we felt real good about stopping them and sending them back until we turned around and saw the damage that they did to our guys. The guys laying all over the place, and not pretty when it's artillery. Guys are, the story is, man, we stopped them, but it cost.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. For sure. Well, cool. We got
Cool.
a lot of people waiting to come in here. So,
Yeah.
Matt, good to see you.
Yeah, good seeing you, Matt.
It's been good seeing you guys too. It's been an honor talking to you, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right, cool. Okay, so we got, let's see. Next, we'll bring in Tom Leotier. I don't know if I say that right. And then Margo, and then Peyton. So Tom, Margo, and Peyton are next. How you doing, Vince?
Okay.
Doing good?
I'm sorry?
You getting fatigued yet? Or you still doing good?
Oh, no, I'm in great shape.
Hey, Vince, I have a question from the chat. Julie Borke, she said her dad was in the same company as you. Not sure, just kind of throwing it out there. His name was Tony Anton Zanzinger from Philadelphia area. He was in your company headquarters. Yeah, so I don't know if that rings a bell. Zanzinger, Anton Zanzinger.
No.
Yeah, I got
Always just kind of throw it out there.
Yeah.
I was only in the outfit 3 weeks and before the battle, and in those 3 weeks, I was a mouse in the corner. Didn't know anybody, didn't talk to anybody, because nobody talked
Right,
to you.
no one talked to you.
I told you what it was like before.
Yeah, he was
No.
original Toccoa.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
see, they're the big boys. They're the ones that they don't want to know you until they find out what kind of guy you are.
Right. Then you guys become best
You're
friends
gonna
once
do
they
when
see you in
ship's
combat.
done. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, we have Tom.
Tom, who we got here? Tom, can you hear us? We can't hear you. We can't hear you, Tom. I think you need to put your headset back on.
Not working.
Can you hear us?
I don't hear anything from him. I hear you.
I don't hear anything. from
Do you hear
Oh yeah, we hear
me
you now.
now?
We hear you. Yes.
Do you hear me now?
Oh, there
Hi,
you go.
Vince.
Okay.
Hi, Vince. It's Tom,
Hey,
your
Tom. Yeah.
personal assistant at the airport.
Oh, hey. How you doing?
I'm doing fine.
How's
fine.
the weather?
The weather is nice. We have positive temperatures. So
When are they going to let me in the country? I've had my shot.
yeah, I hope by December, because the vaccination
December.
is
Next December?
No,
Another year.
I hope that you can visit us in December for the commemorations in Bastogne. So,
Yeah.
I
want to come-
December's
he wants
gone
to come out
by.
before that.
This coming December?
yeah, but
They're going to delay the monument dedication until next December?
that I don't know. I'm not aware of it. But the vaccination is not going that fluently. Only 4% of the
my
people
goodness.
above 18
Oh.
had their
Oh
vaccines.
my goodness.
So
Oh,
I
wow.
don't think before September, October, nothing will
Mm.
move here in Belgium. So I really hope to see you next December during the Bastogne commemorations.
My
Wow.
goodness.
I do
Oh,
really hope.
when I talked to Tom, when I talked to Marco, he said they thought maybe if the COVID thing lives, that maybe they could do it in June with the Normandy celebrations.
That will be close, I think, for Belgium. For Belgium, I do really hope.
Okay.
I do really hope, but and normally we should have the AstraZeneca vaccines.
How about Holland? Is Holland any better?
I hope. As from September, there could be some green lights.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. So we're talking with the people in Holland, also in Germany.
Yeah.
It's to be determined. I mean, some countries are getting the vaccines and they're going to have their own national policies on who gets in and who gets in and who gets out. So right now, some of the countries are talking about having a green passport. So if you have your vaccine, then you can be able to travel to that country. But we'll see. I'm not really sure with the EU.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a big discussion now, because they're gonna start with the 65 plus people, and then they say, the government says, yeah, but the what are we gonna do with the youngsters? They should need a passport to travel and so on. So it's still
but
not.
the youngsters are less vulnerable. The kids don't seem to
Yeah.
be getting it.
Yeah.
That
changes.
That's what the politicians get paid for, and usually they screw it all up anyway.
All right, let's
Okay, but
move on to a different subject.
let's stick to the subject. I have here
Oh,
my
nice.
airborne beer
Yeah.
and my
I
helmet.
salute you with water, my friend. But
Nice.
Cheers.
So Vince, we know each other for 10 years now, so I know the story, but maybe you can tell the beer story for the other attendee. For the other
tell the beer
attendees.
story.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry.
Joe
Show what you're
Wallace.
holding up a little bit. So it's a helmet.
Yeah.
But the cup is a helmet, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's shaped like a helmet.
Yeah.
It's airborne beer. So tell the beer story, Vince.
Oh, this is great.
It's long because you have to know the background to understand what happened. Okay, you know about we went up in trucks on the 17th, the 18th, and the first fight we beat them. They went they pulled back, and the next night they slipped around both sides and surrounded the town. In surrounding the town, they captured the field hospital, all the beds, blankets, equipment, morphine. They shot the American personnel. They kept the 5 of the American doctors to help serve in their army. 1 doctor and 1 Belgian nurse escaped and came into the church, to the town where we were. So for that whole battle, our medical team was 1 doctor, 1 Belgian nurse, and only his own personal equipment. Obviously, the story is we lost an awful lot of men that had we had a hospital, we could have saved them, but it was not to be. We were surrounded. And the only places in town that were still standing was the church and the seminary across the street from the church that had, stone walls, brick, stone. And so when the guys got wounded, they threw them on the floor of the church, and they sent us through the houses to pull all the drapes and curtains and whatever we could find to wrap these guys in. Those of us that had 2 blankets donated 1 to the wounded, but still, if you got wounded, your chances of staying alive was slim. Well, my buddy got hit in both his legs. His name was Joe Willis.
Joe Willis.
They brought back and they put him on the floor of the church. And my sergeant sent me back to the headquarters to get some batteries for the radios. And while I was there waiting to find the batteries, I went to look for my friend. And it was pitiful. These guys laying all over the floor of the church. Joe was laying there, and I see him. I said, "Hey, Joe, how you doing?" He said, "Nothing." I got a couple pieces of shrapnel in my leg. I'll be out here tomorrow. I said, tomorrow? He said, yeah. He said, nothing, just a couple of little pieces of shrapnel in my leg. I said, well, that's great, Joe. We need you. Come on back there, man. And he said, don't worry about it. I'm all right. So I said, I got to leave, Joe. Before I leave, is there anything I can do for you? He said, yeah, go find me something to drink. I said, Joe, where the hell am I going to find you something to drink? We're surrounded and cut off, and there's no supplies coming in here or something. He says, go look in the taverns. I said, the taverns are all bumped to hell. He said, go look anyway. You might get lucky. So, you know, your foxhole buddy wants a drink, you go find him a drink. Now get the picture. It's snowing, not you know, the gentle snow, the kind that hurts and hits you thing. The artillery is dropping in all around the church, and I'm slopping down the road looking for a tavern. There's a picture of the one that I found in the book. The first one I went into, there was nothing, all broken glass. The second one I went into still had a bar, and when I pulled on the beer handle, beer came out. So I said, oh. And I looked around for a bottle or a jug or something to put the beer in. There was nothing. So you took off my helmet, the same helmet you use in a foxhole, and I swished a little snow in it, and I filled it up with beer. I went back to the church. I said, Joe, I got some beer. He said, oh. And, Tom, you getting all of this?
Yeah.
All right. I'm feeding him beer with a helmet, you know. Hey, give me some of that. Hey, give me some of that. Hey, give me some of that. Well, I was like an old mother cow feeding all these guys a mouthful of beer. I ran out. And Joe said, go get some more. Jesus Christ, go get some more. Well, I go down the street, go back to the tavern. I filled up the helmet. This time, as I stepped out of the door of the tavern, a shell landed nearby, knocked me down. I spilled half of the beer, but it didn't hurt. I got up and I went back to the church. This time, standing in the doorway of the church, like this, is the regimental surgeon, Major Walkman. You know that I'm a PFC private. And he says, what the hell do you think you're doing, soldier? I said, sir, bringing aid and comfort to the wounded. He said, listen, smart ass, don't you know I got chest cases and stomach cases in there? You give them beer, you kill them. Get out of here before I have you shot. Yes, sir. And put that helmet on. Put the helmet on, the beer all over me now. I ran like hell back to the foxhole before he changed his mind, but you were already freezing. Now you're wet and freezing, and I could write another book on the next 4 hours what the guys did to try to keep me from freezing solid, taking my clothes off, wrapping me, just pounding. Whatever the story was, there was an incident that happened during the war. Hey, I forgot about it. A lot of little incidents happened during the war. Some I remembered, some I forgot. 65 years later, when I went back to Bastogne for the first time, I was 85 years old. My daughter was with me. It was 2009. And what had happened was I met a woman who had an accent when I spoke to her. And I said, Madame, do I denote a French accent? She said, no, Belgique. I said, oh, Belgium. She said, yes, do you know Belgium? I said, well, yeah, bombs, bullets, and snow. That's what I know about Belgium. And she said, Oh, you were there during the war? I said, yeah. She said, with the 101st Airborne Division? I said, yeah. She said, I'm from Bastogne. She said, I came to America. She said, you have not been back. I said, no. She said, Monsieur, you must go back. The people of Bastogne have never forgotten the 101st Airborne Division. There are monuments to you all over town. There are celebrations. And she said, every year on December 16th, all the men and women of the town put on American uniforms with a Screaming Eagle patch, and they reenact the battle, and they have dinner, and you get to throw your nuts off the balcony. And she said, they are searching for you. Anybody who fought in Bastogne, there's so few of you left. You must go back. And after the war, when I came from the war, I said to myself, listen, you're not going to be one of these guys who has nightmares and backflips. You're going to take all this crap, cutting people in half with a machine gun, put it in the back of your head, and you lock the door. And you can't forget it, but you can suspend it back there, and then over the years it might go away. I did a very good job for 65 years of not having anything. I didn't join any military. I didn't know about any celebrations. I didn't go to any reunions, nothing. This one incident with a woman, and my wife had just been taken away and put in the nursing home. And she's telling me I ought to go back and see the battlefield. Well, I was going to say no. I spent all this time trying to forget that. So why should I go back now and start again? So she said, my daughter sort of pinched my conscience. She said, Papa, at least there's nothing else. We'll go see the cemeteries where your guys are buried. Pay our respects to them. And I said, yeah, you're right. And so now we don't know anybody. We don't have any connections with anything. We just on the computer rented a hotel room in Bastogne, and we went. From that moment on, that one decision to go to Bastogne changed my whole life. I was an 85-year-old man sitting around waiting to die because I had done my thing. And 85, for Christ's sake, that's old enough. But that decision to go to Bastogne changed everything. At Bastogne, we meet this guy, Margo Killian. He's a Dutch paratrooper officer. And we're in this shop. As we're walking to the bank to change our money to euros, my daughter sees a mannequin in a shop window that's got a uniform and American uniform with a Screaming Eagle patch. And she says, let's go see. I said, no, we're going to the bank. We don't have. Again, the decision there, I could have just said, no, let's go to the bank. Okay, let's go look. Well, in there, we meet this guy, Margo Killian. And he says, can I help you? I'm looking at a case in there. I said, no, I'm just looking around here. I was here during the war. He said, you were here during the war? I said, yeah. With the 101st Airborne Division? I said, yeah. He came around behind the counter. I thought he was going to attack me. I went to a defense mode. Picked me up off the ground. Sir, where have you been? We are looking for those of you that are left. There's so few of you. We want to honor you. He said, we studied the war. We teach it to our kids. We are grateful they are for Americans bringing us freedom and so on. He said, who were you with? I said, H Company, 501. He says, I can show you where H Company was dug in on both sides of the road and the ridge. I said, really? He said, yeah. He said, you and your daughter get in the car. And his friend, Johnny Boner, tank commander. And we all got in the car. And we're driving. Now, I recognize nothing. You know, during the war, everything was covered with snow. There was no landscape or anything. And buildings are different and flat. At any rate, he brings us out a little ways out of town. And he said, now look, he says, each company was dug in here, 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 and on the ridge over there. And you could see, you know, they were filled in, but you could see that that was a foxhole. Then he looks me in the eye and he says, and that one was your foxhole. I said, get the hell out of here. I can understand you knowing where each company was dug in. How the hell do you know that was my foxhole? He said, because your company commander, Captain Stanley, when he turned in his after action reports, he had on a piece of cardboard from a K ration a rough diagram of where he had put the automatic weapons. He said, now you were the only machine gunner in the 3rd platoon, right? Yeah. Look, here, MG. Man.
Wow.
You got to picture this now. You're 85 years old. You know, man just sitting around waiting to die. And he's telling you, you know, you see where you're standing right now? 72 years ago, you were a 19-year-old kid with a machine gun waiting for the first German attack.
Wow.
Wow.
Everything that I had put back here hit me in the face like a cement block. I even heard the noise of the artillery again. I went like a crazy. And I fell apart. My daughter pulled me aside. She said, Marco, listen, my father's seen it. Let's go back to town and we'll come back tomorrow. So on the way back to town, I asked the 2 guys if I could take them to lunch. They said, yeah. And at lunch, at the hotel, the dining room, fancy place, I ordered 3 bottles of wine with lunch. I said, I got to change the mood here. I don't like the way I'm feeling. And so, you know, the inevitable, you put 3 soldiers and 3 bottles of wine together and we drink, and we started getting loud and talking, laughing and slipping words here and there. We embarrassed the hell out of my daughter. And they start telling stories. So Johnny Bourne is telling about Belgian tanks. Marco is talking about the fighting in Bosnia and Afghanistan and so on. And when it came my turn, I told them this beer story. While I'm telling the story, they're going like this. They're backing up. You were the GI who brought beer and the helmet to the wounded? I said, yeah. They said, the wounded on the floor of the church, you were giving them beer? I said, yeah. They said, man, don't you know you're famous in Europe? I said, what the hell are you talking about? They said, waiter, come here. Bring us 4 bottles of airborne beer.
Oh, wow.
And the guy comes back with a tray. He's got 4 bottles of beer and 4 little ceramic bowls in the shape of a helmet. You know, Tom showed you that they serve it in.
Wow.
Nobody thought that was a true story. Everybody thought that was
There it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody thought that was a myth. The label on the bottle of beer shows an American paratrooper with a helmet full of beer, and a Belgian brewer 20, 30 years ago who just decided to let's honor this mythical GI. It was a story, and he produced airborne beer. And they were saying nobody thought that was a true story. It was just a wartime baloney. We can't believe it. The guy who did it is really here sitting in front of us. I said, yeah, maybe I should get a cut on the beer, right? They said, whatever the story is, yeah, that's the tavern. That's the tavern that I found the beer in. At any rate, when I went home, they gave me 6 bottles of beer to take home. And I, when I got home, I got a call from the State Journal Register, the state newspaper in Springfield. Yeah, they said, "Hey, we heard a story. Can we come into your house and interview?" I said, "Sure." So he comes to the house with a photographer, and the reporter listened to the stories and so on. The photographer says, I want a picture of you with the bottles of beer. If you Google airborne beer now, you'll see this picture. And there's the 6 bottles of beer with the label showing the beer. And the next day they put it in the newspaper, that picture with the airborne beer. Somebody took it from the newspaper and put it on the internet.
And here we are now.
It's got 50 million hits. It went crazy all over the place, and as a result, I've got 1 million medals, but I am better known for what I did with a helmet full of beer than what I did with my machine gun the whole war. And you know, you've seen in Belgium. You've been to Bastogne, right? To the Nuts Cafe?
Oh yeah, we have.
You have.
Yeah.
Well, at any rate, I'll tell you how bad it is, how bad it got. Last year, I was invited to the Pentagon, a tour of the Pentagon. A general friend of mine arranged for me to get what they call the VIP tour. Here's a colonel pushing me around in the wheelchair. He said, "Now, here's what the tour is. We're going to start at the very top, the Secretary of the Army, and then the Chief of Staff, and then the Deputy Chief of Staff, and the top 5 bureaus of the Army, and you'll get to shake hands with each one of them." So I said, "Great." So he wheels me to the Secretary of the Army, the #1 Army person. And the secretary is outside his office when we get up there, and so the colonel doesn't know what the hell to do. I guess I shake hands with him. The Secretary of the Army didn't give anybody to do it. And he said, "Hey, bring him in here." Colonel said, "Sir, I'm supposed to." I said, "Bring him in here." They bring me in there. I'm sitting in my pants. I don't know what the hell's going to go on here now. I'm supposed to be just shaking hands and leaving. He says, "I heard it from somebody else, but I want to hear it from you." The Secretary of the Army. What the hell? Who told him the beer story? Well, I said, "Okay." I told him the beer story. I said, "Sir, I don't want to take all your time." He said, "Hey, listen, you're probably going to be the best thing that happens to me today." Yes, sir. Tom, from there, everybody down, and a lot of the upper echelon guys, they used to be with 101st Airborne Divisions, and they knew me. And they said, "Vince, I know the beer story, but General so-and-so hasn't heard it. Give it to me." I had to tell the story 4 times that on a tour to the Pentagon.
That's awesome.
But that's my house here, and
that's so cool. Well,
that's a great photo.
I love that story. I'm sure most people watching haven't heard that before. So that's
the honest truth. Every place I go, you know, I got 2 Purple Hearts, 2 Bronze Stars, the French Legion of Honor, the Dutch Order of this, the President. I'm an honorary paratrooper in the Dutch Army. Vince, tell us the beer story. And so
we made it an hour and a half without someone.
I don't mind doing it. It's just how the hell many times you can have the same story, but that's what they want. So okay.
Yeah, it's a nice side story.
You know what the beer story is now?
Yeah, it's a nice
there's a
side
lot of
story.
people watching. Yeah.
But okay, I'm
If you Google YouTube, there's a a video clip of me telling the story at the museum there.
Oh, nice.
What was my World War II uniform on.
Nice.
Yep.
Well, cool. Tom, it's good to meet you, and thanks for coming by. We got
You're
a lot
welcome.
of people waiting here, so we're gonna try and get some
And
more.
hopefully we'll see you in Belgium. Hopefully, something will
Tom,
open
one
up and
time-
happen.
I live here, so I'll be there. Hope to
Yeah.
see you guys.
Well, hopefully
Vince?
we'll be out there. Yep.
Say hi to your daughter Katie from us. Will you?
I shall, Tom, and if I ever get to Brussels again, if you
I'll
don't
be at
find
the
me, I'll
airport.
find you. I'll look for you.
I'll be at the airport.
All right, cool. Thanks for coming
Vince.
back, Tom.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Tom. Thanks for your question. Yeah.
That was good.
That was great. You know, Vince, there's a lot of people who wanted to hear that story, and I'm glad that they're able to hear it
Yeah.
right directly from you. Yeah. I mean, I know you told that story a lot, and it's interesting that you said, like, you know, with all the accolades and all the medals and all the things that you achieved, the beer story is something that just resonates with people.
Yeah. All right, so we got a lot of people still waiting. We'll try and get as many as we can. We're gonna bring in Marty, then Peyton. So let's try and keep it all to one question, so everybody can try and get as many people in as possible. So
Okay.
I'm not telling you, Vince. You do what you do whatever you want to do. All right, this is your time. I'm just trying to, make it flow. All right, so here comes Margo. And here it comes. Oh, she's repping that BDF shirt.
Oh, I like it. I like it.
Hello, Margo.
Hello, how you doing?
Hey.
Doing well. How about you?
Do you remember me? The Frenchie. I was there for your jump with the Golden Knights.
Oh, okay.
Oh, cool.
And,
I guess
and you made me drink.
You had a uniform on there.
Yeah, how you
Didn't
doing?
you? I'm feeling fine. I said that day when I saw you, you had a uniform of some kind.
Yeah,
on,
well,
didn't you?
yeah, I wasn't looking very girly. I was more uniform and tight hair, but yeah, that's me.
That's awesome.
And we
Okay,
had.
yeah. Well, how are you? Okay, everything good?
Yeah, I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I'm gonna try to keep it quick, so because I know everybody wanna talk to you. But yeah, I can confirm for the whiskey. Like I remember we had some at dinner. Figures.
What's her
Yeah.
question?
She said you guys had whiskey together. at
Yeah,
the-
we had shots
you
of
did the
whiskey
jump.
at home.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And plus,
Yeah,
Margo,
I
we were
remember it.
together not too long ago in San Diego in Coronado.
The beer, exactly. Yeah. So yeah, Vince, like you told the beer story, and with me, you had some nice sentences and a little song that you use with the French ladies. Would you bless everybody with sharing it?
Well, I know like a handful of words in French, but I make it sound like I know what I'm talking about, but
You did.
There's a lady around.
I really do not speak French at all.
Well, you did good when I met you. So you did the jump with the Golden Knights, so that was like the full tandem jump.
Yeah.
What did you think about the difference with the airborne jump, which are like way lower in altitude, and that like big jump with the free fall? What was your feeling of the
Yeah.
experience?
Well, in all the other jumps I made, you jump 900 feet, 800 feet. You shoot open, you're on the ground. Because that's the way they want it. In combat, they don't want you hanging in the air getting shot at.
Yeah.
Now, when I jumped the tandem jump, 12,000 feet, it means
Oh, dang.
you got time to sail around and look. It was a nice day, the sun was shining, and you could see the whole horizon all around, and the wind is whipping in your face and so on and so on. But you even though you're attached to another guy, you feel like you're sailing by yourself all around. And for me, the fact that I knew when we got to the ground that I wasn't have to go bouncing around on the ground. I was going to bounce on somebody else for the landing. did you see the video of that jump?
I did. That was pretty
Margo?
amazing. I saw your landing live.
Did you see? Did you see how beautiful the guy come down? The whole thing went down with me right nice on top, and he got slid across the ground, and I was like sitting on a couch. You know, Margo, I wanted to make one more real static line jump. You know, when I was 80 years old, I said, well, you know, I'm not going to live much longer than 80. For goodness sake, I got to make one more jump. I can't leave this world without having one more time that feeling of those other 9 jumps I made. And I tried to find out, is there a way I can make a jump? No. One time, I was 89, at a reunion of the 101st Airborne Division. They had a sign, there's going to be a jump today. And I said, anybody? Or they said, I don't know, go down and check. And, you know, maybe we don't see any restrictions. So I went down there and I talked to them. I said, can I get in on that jump? And they said, yeah, well, you got to pass the test. I said, what test? They said, can you do 3 push-ups? I did 10. You climb L shape up the line at least 5 feet. I climbed 10. They said, can you do a PLF? You know, parachute landing form. And I said, of course I can. And I got up on, you know, there's a 4-foot wall, and all the young kids are all around watching. The old man gonna make a fool of himself. Margo, I did a PLF that they all had started clapping. This man is ready to jump. And I was just in my glory. I'm 89 years old, but I'm gonna make one more jump before I leave this earth. And we will go to the airport. I have my parachute. I have my jump position and so on. And the loudspeaker comes on. No jump today. The ceiling's too low, too high.
No.
Oh my God in heaven. He said, but come back tomorrow, and the weather's going to be perfect, and there'll be a jump. So that night, my jump master gets a phone call. Everybody can jump tomorrow except Speranza. He's over 80.
Oh.
I said, you shouldn't do this to an old man. What? I passed all the tests, and they said I did a better thing than the young kids. Yeah, but there's like a new FAA regulation if you are over 80. I said, first of all, I'm not much over 80, 89. But they refused me to jump. They said, we give you a tandem jump. I said, get the hell out of here. That's not a jump. I said, a tandem jump, you're a message on a passenger pigeon's leg going out the door. They wouldn't make it. Of course, later on, I had to eat those words because that's all I could get as a tandem jump.
Right.
And I got 3 of them now. Margo, when you get to admit to yourself that, well, you have to take less than a real paratrooper's jump, and the tandem jump is very nice. It's you know, a lot more time before you get on the ground, and you can see a lot, and the guy you're jumping with, if he does it right, he takes the beating and you get nothing.
Yeah.
I commented when they asked me, how did you feel? I said, excellent, knowing that the guy below me had a bigger ass than I did.
It's a good story for sure. Margo, thanks for joining us.
No
We're gonna get
It
some
was
more
nice
people on. Always great to see you. I love seeing you in uniform. I love seeing you in the BDF shirt as well, looking good. This is our Iwo Jima shirt that we have. You can see the back here, Iwo Jima.
You get this one.
Yeah, super cool. Well, thanks for joining us. I know we have a few more people want to get on. Yeah. And then it's going to be something special at the end.
All right. Thanks, Margo. Good stuff.
I'll be right back, guys.
Okay. So, Vince, what do we got here? Let me hold on a second.
Yeah.
First airborne selfie. Did you actually take that photo?
1945. I don't know of anybody that took one that far back, so I claim the first selfie.
First selfie.
That was before Kim Kardashian.
What happened was, right after the war, they broke up the 101st Airborne Division. For some reason, they dissolved the whole division. They took the high point men from the 82nd and the 101st and sent them home. And the young kids, they put us all in the 82nd. And we were going to be, they gave us a practice jump. They told us there was going to be a practice jump with full equipment. And they were going to fly us from France to Panama to Saipan for the invasion of Japan. That war, at that time looked like it was going to last another 2-3 years.
Yeah.
Well, we pushed them toward the home islands, the tougher they got. Well, we'll never survive another combat mission. What the hell are they going to fly us from here? Don't they have enough guys out there in the Pacific to handle it? Well, actually, I took those pictures because my mother didn't have any pictures, and I was sure if they sent me to the Pacific, so I wanted to take some pictures to send them to my mother before I went and got killed in Japan.
Yeah.
And by the way, in those days, the back camera, you had to turn the film to take each picture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, of course, it was against the rules. You're not supposed to jump with the camera. But
well, you didn't really follow the rules anyway, Mr. Speranza. You're like,
the guys above me.
Follow the rules, man.
I took a picture of the guys below me, and then I just held it out in front of me, pushed the button, and you see the picture.
That's so cool.
And when I had
original selfie,
I said, well, at least she's got some pictures of me. Of course, then the atomic bomb landed. That was the end of the war. And I just had those pictures of, I don't know where they were. I piled someplace. Yeah. 65 years later, when I started on Facebook and so on, go through pictures, I see them. I said, hey, here's a selfie that nobody, I'm sure, has done. And I put them on my Facebook page, and people said, yeah, that is a selfie.
Like, I've seen this first airborne selfie just out in the wild, like, not like, I've just seen people post this, like, first selfie taken or something, you can pretty much a meme. Meme famous, bro.
76 years ago. Originals.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna bring in.
I don't hear anybody claiming one, so I guess my claim is gonna hold good.
The selfie and I like it. Who we got, Austin?
Well, I'm bringing in Peyton, but it doesn't look like it's actually connecting. I guess I'll give it a second here.
Well, we got a minute here. Let me introduce my friend Chad Chavez. He's my travel companion.
Hello, guys. How are you?
Hey, how you doing, buddy?
Good. How's it going, guys?
Of course, he's a veteran, and he's served with the 101st Airborne Division. And
very cool.
Right on. Right on. Thank you for your service.
Yeah.
That's awesome. All right. Well,
how many years?
I don't think this person's there. I don't think.
How many years you get in?
I was smart. I signed a 2-year enlistment back in the 90s when you could still get away with all that.
Yeah, 90s. Yeah, that's when I was 19. What year? About 1991, 92?
90. I went into 98.
98. Okay.
I was playing
That
ball.
was Kosovo, right? At the time, Bosnia.
Yeah, right at the
Yeah.
end. Yeah. Well, yeah. Kosovo, Bosnia. Yeah. Yep. Somewhere
Yeah.
98,
Yeah.
99 in there. Yeah.
Right on. All right, who do we have here?
I wonder if Austin knows that we're bringing him in.
Hey,
Probably
Austin.
There's a delay. Hey, Austin, you're on. I'm talking to myself.
There's like a 20-second delay.
Yeah. He's
Where is
There
he?
he is. He's right there. I see it.
like, oh no, oh no. Hi.
Where is he located?
Well, we're about to find out.
Yeah, I'm about to find out. There's like,
Hello.
yeah, there's,
Hello.
there he is.
Hi.
Hi. You're on with Mr. Vincent Speranza.
Okay.
How old are you? Where are you from?
I'm from Minnesota.
Nice. How old are you?
I am almost 12.
Nice. Well, you got Mr. Vincent Speranza. Go ahead and ask him a question.
Where are
Okay,
you from? Minnesota?
Yes.
What part?
Okay.
About 40 miles away from Minneapolis.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. First of all, I just want to say thank you for your service, Vincent.
Austin, you're on.
Mhm.
And yeah, I have a question for you.
Okay.
What boot camp did you go to?
Say it again.
What boot
What
camp
boot camp did you go to?
Where'd you go to basic training?
Oh, I first went to the infantry school at Fort Benning, Georgia. And then when I volunteered for the paratroops, Fort Benning also has the parachute school. So I did my parachute training at Fort Benning, Georgia.
Okay. And did you get a choice to jump out of a plane?
To be perfectly honest with you, I really wasn't too concerned about it. They train you so well on the ground, and you know what to expect. You just have to make the decision up here. Yes, I'm going to go out that door. And once you do that, there's no problem. Parachute jumping is a wonderful thing, beautiful thing. And it's a thrill each time. You just have to be able to make the first one.
Nice. What seat did you sit in? Were you one of the first ones?
Was I one of the first ones?
Yeah.
My position was number 3 in the stick, in those days. The C-47s that we jumped out of had 2 sticks, 18 men on each side. And I was in size place, I was a short guy. I was right near the front, number 3.
Wow. That's neat.
Okay.
Austin, you ever think about jumping out of a perfectly flying airplane?
No, not really.
Yeah, exactly. That's why some of these guys are brave, and some of these guys are really tough. So
Yeah.
it's pretty awesome. Hey, well, thank you for joining us.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming on.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Well, hey, send us a DM and send us your address, and we'll send you something out, okay, from the foundation.
Okay. All right.
All right.
All
All
right.
right. Thank you.
Bud.
Yep.
All right. Bye. 11 years old. That's so rad.
Yeah. No, this is this is the future. This is how we keep history alive. Being able to talk to you, Vincent, and learn about history. They're the ones that are going to continue to push it forward so that we never, ever forget and make sure we remember how it all, how we all got here.
Now let's see if Caleb's here. Then after Caleb, we'll bring in Camden and then Parker. Can you hear us, Caleb?
Turn your mic on. There
Can you
go.
hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Nice shirt.
Awesome. Thank
Nice
you.
shirt.
I can't wait to get the Iwo Jima one.
Very cool.
Yeah, it's coming.
Well,
yeah.
You're on with Mr. Vincent Speranza. Tell him how old you are, where you're from.
All right. I am 14. I'm from Pine Tops, North Carolina.
Well,
And-
pleased to meet you, young man.
It's an honor to meet you, sir. I'd like to say beforehand, thank you for your service. It's such an honor to meet you guys. I had a bunch of grandparents and great uncles who fought in the war. It's just an honor to meet you guys. You guys are, I feel like what every person should strive to be. You guys are just so awesome.
Thank you for saying that. That's very nice of you.
All right. Well, Caleb, you got a question for him?
Yes, sir. I sure do.
Go for it.
So, Mr. Vince, I was wondering, what your thoughts were when General Patton came in, because I remember watching a bunch of stuff about him because I've always loved World War II and him as a general, about how quickly and how amazing it was of how quickly he got in there to rescue you guys.
Oh,
Well,
rescue.
With the conditions getting worse and worse for us each day, we kept wondering when the hell he was going to get there, because we were running out of food, running out of ammunition, we were running out of. We had no winter clothes, and so on. The conditions had gotten pretty bad, but fortunately, on the 23rd, you know, Patton came in on the 26th, the day after Christmas. But on the 23rd, the sun had come out, the weather had improved, and we were resupplied by air. So then it wasn't the only reason, by the way, that we really were anticipating Patton is that we had no place to put the wounded. The field hospital had been captured. And so in the middle of the town, in this church, is where we had just thrown the guys who were wounded. What we wanted Patton for is to get the guys out to get them to the hospital. You know, the stories are, well, Patton came to rescue us, and I didn't say, but it was said, hey, we didn't need any rescuing. We have been resupplied. We're ready to take the fight out. Get our wounded guys to the hospital. And the first day, that's what they did. Took the wounded to the hospital, and he left. Goodbye. You know, Patton didn't do any fighting with us up there.
Yeah.
Of course, we were cocky kids, you know.
Oh yeah, yeah. I love the bantering back and forth from from the guys that followed Patton that so-called came in to rescue. Like, you know, we didn't get rescued. We're okay. So I love the bantering back and forth.
Just take the wounded out of here.
We got it. We got it all under control.
Berlin by Christmas. We're going to Berlin by Christmas. We promise, guys. Let's go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, cool. Caleb, always good to see you. Thanks for coming by. Try and get as much fun.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. It's an honor to meet you, Mr. Vince. Thank you guys so much. I love the opportunity to meet people like this. And Mr. Vince, I'm Italian as well, so I know so I think that's really cool as well.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes, sir. My mom is straight Italian, like speaks Italian, makes Italian dishes, like amazing cook.
Now, are you learning how to cook?
Yes, sir. She's teaching me, whether I like it or not.
Well, listen, my friend. Once you become good at cooking Italian food, you'll be the most popular man in town.
Yes, sir.
After you.
Bye, Mr. Vince. Thank you guys so much. It's an honor to meet you, Mr. Vince. Thank you for your service and sacrifice. I hope I get to meet you someday soon.
Absolutely. All right.
You're a well-spoken young man. Thank you.
Thank you.
Right,
thank you guys. Have an amazing day.
Bye-bye. You as well. Some great kids. Some great kids.
My face hurts. I feel like I've just been like smiling and laughing this whole time. Oh
yeah.
Vince, you always keep me going. All right, let's bring in Parker. How you doing, Vince? You still feeling all right? You getting tired?
Absolutely fine. I'm in my glory. Keep going.
All right.
We got Parker.
Can you guys hear me?
I can, yeah.
All right.
A little bit of echo. Are you still watching
echo?
Well,
yeah, I should pause the video. Hold on.
Yeah. Yep. Echo.
All right, is that better? Or?
Yep, there you go.
Yep, that's perfect. That's perfect.
Go ahead. You're live with Mr. Vince Speranza.
All right, I'm Parker Burns from Newburyport, Massachusetts. And before, I just want to say it's an honor to be here. talk to Vincent, and what you guys are doing is amazing. So thank you for all this.
Absolutely. We love
And my question is, so you're famous for singing the song Blood Upon the Risers. And I was wondering, when was the first time you heard the song or sung it? Like, was it at basic or overseas in Europe?
Well, you know, what I sing is not really the official song, Blood on the Risers, has like 10 verses and so on. And I don't know when it came out, but after the war, when I first started going back, you know, I told the whole story before about I didn't have anything to do with any of these reunions until 65 years after the war. So, but when I stood going back, when you get back with the boys meaning the military guys and especially airborne guys from the 101st, you know, you start reminiscing, start talking back, and you tell the old jokes and the old stories. And one of the things was this song. Now I remembered singing, but I only knew the first 2 stanzas. Now, I was too stupid to know that you could go on the internet and do lyrics and you can find anything. So I just made up 3 of my own. And when, and by the way, I don't know the people are videotaping and putting this stuff on. I'm just with my guys and we're talking and laughing. And
just having a good time.
And we start singing. And so I sang the song. And everybody liked it. You know, they came in. I made up these 3 stanzas. My version of the song is a little different. The original song makes the guy a damn fool and he throws himself. I make him a hero. You know, he's sent him to Afghanistan and he's catches him with a grenade. At any rate, one time I was singing it someplace and so on, and the guy said, "Hey, that's not the Blood on the Risers song." He said, I said, "Well, what is?" And he said, "It's a 10 stanza song with this guy forgot his girlfriend." And I said, "Oh well, then I better learn that and start singing it." But my guy said, "No, I like how we like your version better. The original version makes the guy a damn fool. You make him a hero. We sing you on." So, again, I don't know. People are going to put this thing on the internet and put it here. So I just went. And every once in a while, I have to say, "Hey, let's sing the Patriotic." I said, "Listen, I'm not an entertainer. For Christ's sake, I'm a veteran here. No, then, but that's a fun song. Okay." Well, before you know it, it's all over the internet, Facebook, and Vince, let's sing you Blood on the Risers. I said, well, it's not really Blood on the Risers, it's the Paratrooper song.
Paratrooper song.
And that's what the story. And by the way, according to my friends that hang around, the finale is going to be, we're going to sing that song.
That's right.
Good.
We're going to all jump on Zoom at the end of this and we're going to have a sing song. We're all going to sing it together. It's
all right.
Sound horrible, but it's going to be a lot of fun. All right, Parker, well, how old are you, by the way?
I'm 16.
16. Cool. Glad. It's always good to see people your age interested in World War II.
Yeah, what got you into history, Parker?
Well, so in 5th grade, I was learning about the Revolutionary War, which really sparked an interest. And then that kind of gradually moved on to World War II. And I learned about my relatives and all that. So yeah, all of that combined just sparked an interest.
Well, my friend, you know, after a while, I became a school teacher. I taught American history in high school. And let's put it this way. The kids that came out of my class were patriots. I'm really concerned today as to what the kids are learning about history of America in today's schools. It's not being taught the same way. And the nation needs a reminder. And in a lot of my speeches, I start this way. I say, listen, you know, when I speak to the kids and when I speak to the school kids or parent groups around here, I say, listen, every so often, people need to be reminded that in 1775, every nation on the face of this earth was a dictatorship. They called themselves kings, queens, sultans, pharaohs, emperors. Whatever the story was, it was the same for 5,000 years of civilization. One man or woman and a handful of wealthy families behind him ran the whole show, and 95% of the people were used and abused. In 1775, in this country, be proud as an American that it was in this country in 1775 when a 650-man British regiment, regular troops, regular army uniformed troops, on their way from Boston to Lexington. This is in Massachusetts. You know where I'm talking about, my young friend. And they had to go through this little town called Concord Bridge before they got to Lexington. And the 71 Americans from the little village of Concord Bridge and one 12-year-old drummer boy stood out on the village green. They weren't doing anything. They weren't being aggressive, or in front of their village, letting people know that, hey, this village is being protected by its militia, 71 men. The British commander brings his entire regiment up in front of them and says, listen, lay down your arms and disperse, ye rebels. And for the first time, the answer came out of a barrel of a gun. They said, fuck you. They took on 71 Americans taking on a 650-man British regiment of trained soldiers. These guys weren't soldiers, they were farmers, they were frontiersmen. Of course, everybody knew what was going to happen. The British opened fire, they killed 45 of them. The rest of them ran but when that British regiment started back from Lexington to Boston, behind every rock and tree, there was an American with a rifle, and they were picking off the officers and so on. Before that regiment got back to Boston, they had lost 1/3 of the men, and a bunch of people changed history. The poet Emerson said, and there the embattled farmer stood and fired the shot heard around the world. And indeed, for the first time, these people said, we're not taking any more of your crap. You and your king and your dictatorship and so on. We're freedom-loving Americans, and we are going to stand on our own. The next year, they wrote down on a piece of paper, we hold these truths to be self-evident. All men are created equal, and they are endowed by their creator with certain inalienable rights, among them life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And then the most important words that so damn many people forget. And to ensure these rights, governments are instituted amongst men. Listen to those words, meaning the only reason that a government exists is to ensure the rights of the people. And the government isn't giving those people the right, their rights come from God. It turned the whole world on fire. It wasn't the first time that people revolted against kings and so on, but each of those times, the government put that down with a fire and destroyed whatever rebellion was going on. This time, it took 7 years, but a handful of disorganized colonies, only 1.5 million population, 1/3 of whom were loyalists, and so they were on the British side, took on the British Empire, the biggest superpower of the day. Americans have got to remember what this country came from. And what there wasn't a cannon factory in the whole South. The country didn't have an army. It didn't have a navy. It had a bunch of guys who had freedom in their heart. From George Washington on down, and with a little help from the French, this bunch of disorganized colonies became the United States of America. And the rest of the history, as you saw it, that little bunch of people put together a country like, by the end of World War II, we were the biggest, the strongest, the most prosperous, the finest nation in the world had ever seen. That's why everybody wants to come here. There's nobody breaking down the doors to get into China or Russia or North Korea there. Everybody wants to come here because, of course, we have problems. Of course, we still have problems to solve and so on to try to get everybody equal. But hey, there's never been a nation like this in the world. People better not forget it. And I'm probably, you know, I don't want to get political here, but the nation is in danger of being, it's split wide open, and it's all kinds of problems. We've let a bunch of politicians turn the biggest and the best and the finest country in the world into a squabbling. We're going to end up a third-rate banana republic unless we do something about it. Young people, you know, I'm out of it. I've only got a couple of more years on this, but you young folks better pay attention to what's going on. Austin, I'm sorry. I apologize. I get wound up about some of this stuff. But
no, it's so.
I wish you were my history teacher.
First scotch of the day.
No, hey.
No. Scotch, I love. Oh man.
So you're the future. You know, understand history moving forward with your life and how you look at things, and just know, like you said, this is the greatest country. You have people coming here from all over. That's one thing. It's opportunity. We all have opportunity in this country. If you work hard, you can achieve anything. You know, no one needs a handout. You know, everybody needs a hand up. And I was one of those people that obviously had help to make it to, you know, successful in this country as well. And we challenge everyone to do that as well. Go after what you want in life. Go after what you want in life.
My father said, I was telling you that before. My father, you know, an immigrant from another country, they come in, they see what they, and they said, anytime, all you have to do is be a man who is willing to work, willing to do something. And in this country, you can become a wealthy person, anything, if you're willing to work.
Sure.
Unfortunately, the immigrants, the latest immigrants are not that way. They come here to take advantage of the largesse of America. Again, I'm getting into politics.
No, history. No, it's all.
Next question.
Yeah, hey, Parker. Hey, thanks for joining us, buddy. And I like your shirt. It's looking good. Let's see it.
Yep.
75th anniversary, Holland.
Yeah. Yep.
Holland. Matter of fact, you know, Vince, he jumped during that commemoration in Holland a couple years ago. Yeah. He did a tandem jump. Yeah, he jumped in Holland in 2019.
Yep.
Remember that jump, Vincent?
Yeah, I've got 3 of them now. I've had one every year. The last one was the Golden Knights in Las Vegas.
Yep. Pretty cool. Well, Parker, it was great to meet you. And, hopefully we'll see you again.
It's not a static line jump, the kind I want, but it's better than nothing.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you guys. I'll be back for the next one.
All right.
All right.
Thank you.
Did I answer your question, Parker? Young friend?
I think you more than answered this question. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
For sure.
It's all good. I know sometimes you go down tangents, you know. You know, we try not to get political as well, but you know, sometimes you go down tangents and you know, you have your opinion. Everybody has opinion, which is the great thing about America. You know, we have freedom of speech.
And you've got opinions with a lot of history and knowledge to back them up. So
oh yeah, 95 years worth of history. 95 years.
When you talk, you got to listen.
Absolutely. Who we got next?
Let's bring in Camden.
Camden.
There he is.
All right.
Hello.
Hello, Camden. You're on with Vince. Tell him how old you are and where you're from.
Mr. Vincent, I am 17 years old and I am from Vermont.
Vermont. I have a
Vermont.
place. Do you know where Lake Seymour is in Vermont?
Yep.
Newport in the Northeast Kingdom.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay.
My
I had a
grandparents live
summer
over there.
place on Lake Seymour for 40, 50 years.
Oh wow.
Really?
Yeah.
I spent a lot of time in Vermont in the summer.
Nice.
Oh yeah. You have a
That's
chapter in your
awesome.
book too, Vincent. A chapter about Vermont in your book as well.
It does.
Camden, you have his book?
I do not. I know I sound terrible.
Get that.
I sound terrible saying that, but yes, I will have to get that book.
Yeah, make sure you get his book. Vincent, you get these books on Amazon? Or where can you get the books?
Or you can order from yourself.
What's the
they can
best way to
get-
order
they
your
can get
book?
the They can get the book on Amazon. Yes.
Okay.
Amazon.com.
Okay. All right.
Easy. That's
That's
easy.
easy enough.
Nice. Well, Camden, go ahead and ask your question.
I guess my question refers to when you were defending Bastogne from the advancing German forces. What was it like defending the city? I mean, you were essentially surrounded. What was racing through your mind during that time? What was it like knowing fighting when you basically kind of had the sense that it was kind of like a hopeless battle and you were direly outnumbered?
Well, friend, for one thing, the cold half numbs your mind, but you're down to an elemental nature of survival. Try to beat the mortar shells before they land without you knowing it, and then try to get down in that foxhole when you know, artillery, you got a few seconds because it goes off in the distance, and before the shell reaches you, if you're fast enough, you can duck down. But the mortars, you know, you don't hear them, and so you're on the alert for that. But in terms of thinking, you're thinking, boy, how nice it was when it was only 25 degrees. And now it's 12 below zero. And you're thinking about, and you cuss the people that didn't send us gloves and hats and so on. And then you have pleasant thoughts, you think about home. But more or less, those things are back here. The elementary thing is, how am I going to stay alive for the next 24 hours? And when the hell are they going to bring us some more ammunition? And when are we going to get this and it? In other words, the immediate needs is what you're thinking about. Every once in a while, if you get to relax in the foxhole, you know, in 0 degrees, relaxing means shaking your arms back and forth. You smile and laugh and you say, remember how I used to complain about how hot it is?
Yeah.
I'm so glad I didn't get sent to the Pacific because it's so hot in the jungle.
Yeah, exactly. It's like the exact opposite in the Pacific.
Yeah. And so your mind is a jumble of thoughts, but most of it is the immediate thoughts of careful zone. And when the next German attack comes or the artillery starts, make sure you jump back in that hole if you're standing out of it and so on.
Mm-hmm. That is wow. That's a lot. I mean, coming from a soldier who faced that is wow. I mean, I never thought of it that way.
At the time, don't forget, we were 18 years old. 19
yeah.
Yeah.
Which you're around
when
my
you're
age.
19 years
time,
old, you can
hard to
take
believe.
anything. Especially since my friend, something very important that I left out is that we were well trained. We were given the kind of training, you know, paratroopers were kind of special people like today's special forces or so and so. The special training that we got put us in such tip-top physical condition that besides being able to withstand the jump or so on, if you jump into combat, you can, you know, run all day, run all night. But there's more to the training than just being able to run fast or jump high or so on. So on. You don't realize it, but they're training your mind as well as your body. Because in the long run, your brain tells your muscles what to do.
Exactly.
An example was in the training, you did all kinds of physical activities, jump, run, push-ups, this and this. One of the exercises was small arm circles to the rear. And you're waving your arms. Can you see my arms?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. They tell you, keep winding those toes until we can stop. And so you turn, you know, you're young and strong, and you turn and turn and turn. And pretty soon, though, you know, you start to droop. So just get those arms up. Get them up again, and you wind and wind and wind. And pretty soon you're saying, hey, and I didn't get those arms. Get them up there again. Now, the sergeants are
a hard thing to do for a long time.
I know.
Yeah. Then, you know, so you get them up there and you pump, but eventually, you know, hey, there's just so much you can do, and you start to droop, and get them up there again, and finally you hear him say, "Halt!" And you drop. I didn't tell you to drop those arms. Get them up there again. You get them up there again. He says, "You wound them up. Now unwind them."
Oh.
You're going like this. I can't. Get them up there. Unwind. And you know what you find? Yes, you can. Even though you said to yourself, no, I can't anymore. But with the right motivation, and you know what? You do unwind them. You do stay. In combat, that makes all the difference in the world. Because in combat, you get into situations where you say, I can't take anymore. And your brain immediately says, don't give me that crap. Yes, you can, because I saw you when the sergeant, you were positive you couldn't get those up, but yes, you got them up there again and you turned them back. And the effect on you is that I'm a pretty tough little bastard, I guess. I can do. And you know, a lot of times when the situation's bad and the people give up. Well, we didn't, and we wouldn't. That's how 12,000 men held off 86,000 Germans.
Holy crap.
Yeah, and that's great advice, Vince, because, you know, those lessons that you learn,
good advice.
those lessons that you learn help you in life too, right? When times get tough in life, you always result back to that. Say, you know, hey, I do that. I can do anything. I mean, that's a lot how I mean, like football, playing football in life is very similar, because I lean on the things that I experienced during my time playing ball, and I find strength in that to know that I've done that, you know, to push me forward in life to do anything I set my mind to.
Sure.
Cool. Hey, Camden. Well, thanks for joining us, buddy. We really appreciate it.
Hey, thank you guys so much for letting me in. Thank you for interviewing these veterans. This is such a good story. What he just told me, never gonna forget that.
That's good.
That's
awesome,
such a good
awesome.
lesson.
Yeah, why don't you DM us your
Geronimo, learn that word.
Well, Camden, it was good to see you again, man.
It's good to see you guys as well.
All right. Well, hopefully we'll see you again soon.
I'll be back.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Woo!
All right.
Vince, you're hitting it with the heat today. How you feeling, Vince?
Extremely well, thank you.
Pretty good. Pretty good.
You want to keep going?
Yeah, let's bring on a couple more.
All right, let's do it. Yeah, we've had a lot of people waiting for a long time, and there's just so many people on this list. It's crazy.
Yeah.
They
all want to talk to you.
Yep. Sure.
Who we got?
You. Trying to remember who I said was coming in next. I think it was Connor. Here we go. Let's bring in Connor. There we go. Now we can see who it is. All right.
Hello.
Connor. Can you hear us?
All right.
Yes, I can.
Sweet.
Intact.
That's General John Ron's book.
Oh, yeah.
Cool.
Oh, yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah. Do you have Vince's book?
Unfortunately, I do not.
Well.
Okay. Well, you definitely should get it. You definitely should get it. It's on Amazon. Hear the story.
Yeah.
You're looking good. Well, tell Vincent where you're from and how old you are.
Well, Mr. Vince, I'm 16 years old, and I live in Lafayette, Louisiana.
You hear
I'm
me?
very pleased to meet you, young man.
Well, I would like to thank you for your service and thank you for what you did during World War II. And I have a few questions for you. So be ready.
Keep it to one
Yeah,
question,
well,
Connor.
yeah. Let's keep it to one question because we're
more
going pretty
people in.
long, Connor. Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So, Mr. Vince, what was your reaction when you reunited with Joe Riley, who was in the headquarters company?
Oh yeah, I have that video. Let's put that video up.
I don't have that video.
You don't have it? I'll send it to you right now. Give me 1 second.
All right. Go ahead. Go ahead and answer, Vince. Vince?
Yeah.
Go ahead. You can go ahead and answer the question.
Oh, I thought that you were putting on some kind of video.
I'll do that in a bit, but you can go ahead.
Yeah, I gotta find it. You can start talking about it. I'll find it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well. I would like to point to the video. You look at Joe and keep in mind that the last time I saw him, he was a 19-year-old tough kid, and we used to kick each other's ass like half wrestling. We were about the same size, and then after the war, I had never seen him again, talked to him, or anything else. And imagine 70-something years later, I see him coming out from one of the reunions there, little bent over, a little gray-headed like me, and it was just such a thrill. I couldn't believe it. We didn't get a chance to talk much, but it was just hey. I'm meeting a lot of people. I visited a lot of people, but can you imagine the special thrill of meeting somebody that you fought with when you were 19 years old?
Pretty rare.
That feeling, and by the way, both of us, we must have little tears in our eyes, but the story was, both of us just knew the same thing. That hey, a real buddy, wartime buddy especially, you could be gone 150 years and first meet, and there you are bonded back again, just like it was in the front. And then you'd be willing to take a bullet for each other.
Yeah.
That's the kind of bonds that you form in combat.
Yeah. So do you have a story that you were that you can talk about, Joe, when you guys were in battle together?
No, he was in a different company. And we knew each other as just guys that were in the same outfit.
Yeah, I'm trying to find that video. Sorry.
I never even saw him in actual combat.
Okay.
I was trying to find it on Facebook, but I don't even know.
No, I have it somewhere.
Should have long ago.
Yeah, Connor, I know you're gonna ask that question. That's good because it's a pretty cool video. Just saw it. I just can't find it right now. But anyways.
Yeah.
We'll play it if we find it.
Find it.
I just reached out to I just reached out to Joe Conway. Joe Conway is the one who took the video.
Yeah.
So maybe he's gonna send it to us.
Yeah. Well, cool, Connor. Good question.
Great question.
And
Mr. Austin,
stick around. We're gonna do a sing song at the end.
Mr. Austin.
Yes.
So is Joe Riley up for a Zoom meeting?
Joe would be awesome to have on a Zoom call, but I don't know if he has the capability or not.
You can ask him.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, he's here in San Diego, so I'll reach out to him and see. It'd be good to have good old Joe from Janesville, Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sure.
He's a farm boy from there.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, Parker Pins is out there.
All right. Well, Connor,
see if I can...
thanks for joining us, man. Always good to see you. And hopefully we'll see you in a little bit. We can sing a song. Have a little song. All right.
All right.
Bye. All right. Let's get a couple more in here. We've got Nathan next. Vince, you've been warming up your pipes all week. Did you have to sing down in Arizona at all?
No, I'll have to wait till after dinner to smoke a cigar.
Oh, I had that somewhere.
What's up, Nathan?
Hello.
Hey, Nathan, how you doing?
I'm doing well.
Good. You're on
Doing
with
good.
Speranza. Tell them how old you are and where you're from.
I am 12 years old and I am from Ireland.
From Galway, Ireland.
Yes.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. So,
Yeah.
Nathan, you're on with Vince. Go ahead and ask him a question.
Yeah, I've got a question about your machine gun. What really pissed you off about it?
Now
you're speaking his language.
My gun didn't piss me off. I pissed on it. No, here's what the story was. When I joined the division in northern France, just before the Battle of the Bulge, I was a replacement. I was sent to Airborne Parachute Infantry Regiment. And I was a machine gunner, but I didn't have a machine gun. The organization, the 101st Airborne, had just come out of 70 days of combat in Holland and took a beating. It lost a lot of men and it lost a lot of its equipment. So they did not have my machine gun when I got there. It was in for repair. They called it salvage in the service. And so I did not have a gun when we were sent to Bastogne. I did not have a gun. And like I told the boys before, what saved us was a lot of stragglers from previous division, American division that had gotten beaten, that were coming through Bastogne, had weapons, and we just went up to them and told them that they were going back and we were going in, and we just took the weapons away from them that we needed. And I found a man with a light 30 machine gun. Now, it was not what I trained on. A regular 3-man machine gun squad has one man carries the gun. He's the gunner. One man carries the tripod and the other man carries ammunition. And the squad goes into action like this. The first man forward is the man with the tripod. He runs forward, drops the tripod onto the ground and steps aside. The gunner then comes with the gun and drops the gun into the tripod. And the ammunition bearer on the right-hand side has the belt out ready to slip in there. And so they're in operation within a few seconds. Paratroopers can't do that. You can't have a 3-man machine gun squad because 2-second difference in the jump, and the guy might jump here, the other guy's there, and so on, and nobody can fire the machine gun at all. So what the paratroops did was they invented a light 30 machine gun, but all in one piece. There was a bipod in the front, and the stock on the back, like a rifle stock, but folding, metal stock, and it fit into a leg pack. And when you jumped, there was a cord that you pulled, and the leg pack dropped 30 feet, and it would hit the ground before you did, so it wouldn't break your leg. And you had the ammunition wrapped around your waist, and that meant that you, one by yourself, were a whole machine gun squad. You had the gun, and you had the ammunition, and as soon as you got to your feet, you could put everything in action. So I didn't have a choice of getting my regular machine gun. Whatever this man had, and this is what he had this light 30, but it suited me just fine, and that's what I used for the rest of the war. Very reliable gun, by the way. It never failed me.
Nice. Does that answer your question, Nate?
Yep.
Very cool.
Do you know how heavy that gun was, Nathan?
No.
Probably weighed as much as you do. It's like carrying around a child, a large child. These are heavy.
All right. Well, I need you to do some homework. I need you to find out how heavy that gun was in pounds, not kilos. No, I'm kidding.
Something that's just as heavy. Hold it up
and carry it. Yeah, exactly.
Try and carry your little brother around.
Yeah, it's pretty heavy when it's all put together
in
too.
the snow.
Yeah, go outside in the snow in Ireland. Carry your brother around for miles.
That's difficult right now.
Where's your brother? Where's your brother? Let's say hi to your brother. Where's he at?
He's
Is he close?
downstairs.
Oh, he's down.
Okay, no worries, no worries. All right, tell him we missed him this time. But anyways, hey Nathan, thanks for joining us. Stay on at the end. I think we got one more, and then we're gonna have a nice little tribute.
Yep. All right. See you, Nate.
See you, buddy.
Can I call you?
And
Nate?
Austin.
Yeah.
The person you forgot about was Gordon Ritchie. That you were meant to before me.
What happened?
Just tell me. Gordon Ritchie was meant to come on.
He came
before
on.
me.
He did. Gordon Ritchie is Connor.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Everybody has different names everywhere, so it's hard to keep track. All right. See ya.
See you, buddy. That's cool.
Like people are talking in the chat, and they're like, "Am I on the list?" And I'll look on the list, and like, I don't know. There's a bunch of weird names on the list. I have no idea if you're on the list because everybody has a different name on Zoom than they do on the internet.
Sounds good. Well, let's bring in one more. Let's wrap it up.
All right. I don't know how to say this person's name, but it looks like Rude, so we're gonna call him Rude. I don't know if that's his name. R-U-U-D. What would you say?
Rudy.
Rudy? R-U-U-D? He's got a picture with Vince on his profile. So this guy obviously knows Vince. He's got the cup. He's got
all right. Oh, he knows Vince.
Evening, gents.
What's up?
What's up? I'm gonna hold up this picture.
Oh,
there it is.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, every once in a while.
Pretty good. Pretty good.
Cigar.
Good.
And now, where are you located?
The Netherlands. Yeah, Rudy is.
Holland. Oh, yeah, Holland.
Cool. And how do you say your name?
Ruud.
Ruud.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
You gotta roll the R.
Ruud. Ruud.
But when I'm talking to English folk, Rudy will suffice.
Okay.
Yeah, got it.
All right, cool. Well, you're on with Mr. Vince.
Yeah. And I just wanted to say, Vince, this was my highlight of 2019. You were jumping together with Jim Martin. I wasn't allowed.
Pee-wee Martin? Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't allowed. I jumped a couple of ditches and some barbed wire, but I got onto the field. I saw you chugging some whiskey, smoking a cigar, and this was my highlight of 2019. So thank you.
That's awesome.
That used to happen once in a while.
I follow your good example.
That's good.
To end on a high note, I was wondering if you can talk a bit about your experience on VE Day. Where were you? What were you doing? And do you remember who told you that the war was over in Europe?
Yes. Remember this thing. After we broke out of Bastogne, it was in early January. On the 5th, I got hit and sent back to the British hospitals and so on. But then I came back to the outfit by the 19th. And we were pushing the Germans back toward Berlin. At that time, after the big fight at the Beaujolais Woods, and then Houffalize in Belgium, and then we went to the Czech border and Austria, and finally into Bavaria, Germany, and the April, and then that terrible thing when I came across the concentration camp, and oh man, I don't even like to talk about that one. But in late April, we had reached Berchtesgaden. And Berchtesgaden was the first town that we weren't getting shot at. You know, we had been taking bullets and casualties all the way through. And in Berchtesgaden, they had all put white towels and sheets out the windows as a sign of, you know, surrendering. They were not going to fight, and we were delighted. We were in there getting souvenirs and stuff and so on, and we got a chance to go up to the Eagle's Nest. It's now May the 7th. In the Eagle's Nest, we found, you know, we would take a bomb had hit the place, and stuff was scattered all over the place and so on. And we all got picked up souvenirs here and there. And we got word. The Germans are signing surrender. The war's over. And May the 8th, yeah. And that's where we were, and expecting, now we're going to go home. No, this was in May. We didn't get to go home until the 17th or something of November. We had to stay there until the occupation troops from America came to take our places so we could go home. But it took another 4 months, 5 months before we finally got home. But that's where I was when word came that the war was over. Hitler's Eagle's Nest.
Very good. You drank some of Goering's wine?
I'm sorry?
You drank some of Goering's wine?
No, you know, the first thing I don't want to make anybody mad, but the first thing the officers do, they put all that stuff off limits, and they put guards on it. You know where the wines and so on went. They didn't go to the enlisted men, let me tell you.
Well, cool.
Now,
Well,
some of the guys were lucky, like E Company, the 506 guys. They after the war, they had an officer like you know, Dick Winters, who said, "Well, listen, not only we should have he turned them loose so that they could, the enlisted men, the sergeants especially, could get some of that liquor."
Yeah.
I'll tell you what we got. In each German base, I don't think there was one we ever came across that didn't have a big earthenware jug, big, you know, and a big mouth. It had a big cork, and when you took the cork out, fumes came up like gasoline. But it was potato schnapps. You take one gulp, you're drunk.
It's like Everclear.
As soon as we tasted it, so you know, you're spitting, you're coughing, you're hollering, but hey, free drinks. And what we found out besides that, when you put it in your canteen cup and have a drink, it cleans the bottom of the canteen cup. It dissolve the oxide, and so for inspection we used to put potato schnapps and they swish it around, and your cup is nice and shiny and clean, like it had an acid treatment. At any rate, there was plenty to drink, and we just like loafed for 3 months until November, when they sent us home. December. We got home in time to the big parade down Fifth Avenue there. You know, by this time I'm in the 82nd Airborne here. The 101st had been dissolved. and they brought us home, and we marched in that big parade down Fifth Avenue, and in early January, they discharged us. And we were out of the army and back into civilian life.
Oh. Well, very cool. Good question.
Cool.
Rude.
Cool.
Well, so what we're going to do now, we're going to have everybody join in. We're going to have to wait about 30 seconds so people can actually hear this because there's a delay. But we're going to have everybody join in. It's going to get crazy. So if you're joining in on Zoom, please mute yourself in the beginning. Just right when you get in, mute yourself. Because I just can't even imagine how many different sounds are going to be going on. And then when it gets to the chorus, you'll know it's going to the chorus when Vince says, what? What are you going to say, Vince, right before the chorus?
He ain't gonna jump no more.
He ain't going to jump no more. So
you come in there and glory, glory, what a hell of a way.
What a hell of a way to die.
So when he says he ain't going to jump no more, unmute yourself and we can sing along. The lyrics are easy. It's gory, gory, what a hell of a way to die. Not glory, glory. That's a totally different song. It says gory, gory, what a hell of a way to die. He ain't going to jump no more. So this is going to be totally experimental.
We'll try it.
It could end up being a nightmare, but it could be also really fun.
The sergeant looking up, our hero bravely answered yes, and then they stood him up. He jumped right out into the blast, his static line unhooked. He ain't gonna jump no more. Glory, what a hell of a way to die. Glory, glory, what a hell of a way to die. Glory, 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 hell of a way to die. He ain't gonna jump no more.
Glory, glory, what a hell of a way to
upon the ship.
die.
Custom were hanging from the paratrooper boots. Picked them up still in the chute and pulled them from the boots.
He ain't gonna jump more. Glory, glory, what a way to die. Glory, glory, what a hell of a way to die.
Glory, glory, what a hell of a way to die.
Glory, what a hell of a way to die.
Went to his wife and baby son. Madam, we regret to say your trooper's life is done. But hold your head up high, his name is written in the sky. He ain't gonna jump no more. Glory, glory, what a way to die. Glory, glory, what a hell of a way to die. Glory, what a hell of a way to die. He ain't gonna jump no more. His son grew up and said, a trooper's life for me. A trooper like my daddy was is all I wanna be. I only hope that I can jump just half as well as he. He ain't gonna jump no more. Glory, glory, what a hell of a way to die. Glory, glory, what a hell of a way to die. Glory, glory, what a hell of a way to die. He ain't gonna jump no more. Now one more, this is the last one.
Okay, everybody be quiet. Everybody be quiet. Mute everybody.
And then into Iraq. The bullet that came speeding out went deep into his back. He hit the ground, but his grenade found enemy on track. He ain't gonna jump no more. Glory, glory, what a hell of a way to die. Glory,
All right. Everybody, thank you so much for joining. Thank you, Vincent Speranza, for everything. That was crazy sounding, but heck, it was fun.
It was awesome. I'm glad we're all able to do this together. Vince, we love you. Thank you, everyone that's here, everyone that supports the foundation. Make sure you join us for our Iwo Jima Honor Walk on March 20th. Iwo Jima or Iwo 25 is our discount. Thank you guys so much for keeping history alive. Vince, this is for you, buddy. We love you, and we can't wait to get back to normal.
Thank you.
All right.